already. We no longer have ID books. Even I don't have an ID book, even though I kept my one. So what's really aged you? Jonathan Fairbairn, looking as young as ever. Has anything aged you?
Afternoon, John, and afternoon to our 702 family. All the 702 presenters that I've worked with have aged me.
Yeah.
They have sapped my energy, the life out of me.
You sound like a man whose energy has been sapped. Tell you what, you want to go and have a little lie down? We'll do this show. There we go.
No, I'm just joking. You've all been wonderful. I've been very lucky.
The energy drained Jonathan Fairbairn is still well. So what has aged you?
I mean, look, if we wanted to go like serious and say what really has aged me, I'd probably say the period where I was separated and going through the divorce.
Yes.
I feel that aged me a lot.
Yes.
And that was back in between what, 2020, end of 2010 to 2012 when I finally got divorced.
It's a chunk of time.
But that period was a hectic period, and I think that aged me quite a bit. But yeah, that's quite deep for a Friday. But keeping it real.
It's part of the conversation, and I expect that's the conversation we're going to have, because some people, for example, will talk about things that are genuinely undermining and fundamentally difficult in your life, and please. Don't feel constrained. You can be frivolous if you want. You can be serious if you want. It's a wide open question. What has aged you? I'm going to be a bit lighthearted, but first, Refuwe Letsua, who doesn't look like anything's aged her either, but there we go.
Something in the water, hey? Something in the water.
I think there's something in the water. Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. I've just been thinking, being an adult, John, it's tough.
Yes.
It's an extreme sport. My mom used to always say, when we were being cheeky towards her, she'll always say, Refuwe, one day you'll grow up and see. John, every day I see the responsibility. I mean, it's great being an adult, but sometimes the responsibilities, I'm just a girl, John.
Yes.
I am trying, but sometimes you're like, can't I just turn back the hands of time and just go back to that grade 1? But
yeah.
Icon.
Turn back the hands of time, but not in regard to your credit card and your ATM access. Yeah. I'd settle for that.
Yeah.
Please.
Lesego, when something does age you, what do you expect might age you? And by the way, if you wonder what I'm talking about, please go onto our YouTube channel. You will see Lesego is comfortably, I think, the youngest, freshest face in the studio. By the way, on YouTube, just type in 702 Drive John Perlman Live, and you can see which one of us looks the most aged. But yeah, seriously, I mean, maybe the question would be, what worries you?
Growing a beard.
This worries you that you might or that you might not?
I don't like beards.
Well, you don't have to. There's nothing in the 702 rules saying that we expect a beard.
So, but I don't think when I grow one, people will still say, you're older. They were like, nah, you're so young.
Okay.
Yeah. Because everywhere I go, like, are you in grade 12? And I'm like, no, I'm working. And like, nah, show me your ID.
Okay. All right. So you're going to, all right.
Well, maybe he needs things to age him a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I share some of my responsibilities?
Your beard, Jonathan?
Yeah, pop into the producer's booth with me and Refuwe. We'll age you.
I've got responsibilities that can I give him some of my responsibilities?
Why not?
3 hours.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And there's an expression, I'm just going to tweak it slightly in regard to Lesego's ambitions. Watch this face.
Oh, no.
We'll see what actually
Don't
happens.
watch this YouTube channel.
Okay, there we go. 702 Drive. What has aged you? I'll share with you my rather, in perspective, somewhat trivial example. I'm going to save it for later. But let's pick up with the traffic news now. Friday traffic builds a little bit earlier. Lesego, what's up?
Yes, John, these traffic lights that are faulty at Modderfontein and Van Riebeek, in Midrand at the R55 and Kenilworth, and in North Riding at Malibongwe and President Forshire, Malibongwe and Vetkoppen, Old Pretoria and Marlborough Drive, in Fourways at Cedar and Fourways Boulevard, and in the CBD of Tshwane, traffic lights are out in Groenkloof at the Fountain Circle and Nelson Mandela, in the CBD at Sophie de Bruin and Jeff Masemola, also in Marabastad, Bump and 7th, Elansport, Roper Street and Linwood Drive, and also Centurion, there's a crash on the R21 South South at Nelmapias Drive. Please drive carefully. And also in Centurion, there's a crash on the N1 South before Bertha Avenue. Expect delays. If you have any traffic updates, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Why was IDEC and the police minister's office so desperate to have the head of crime intelligence, Dumisani Khumalo, charged and hopefully removed from office afterwards? Why were they so desperate to go after them to the point that they even act unethically, to the point that IDEC even violates the NPA Act? What were they trying to stop? Because clearly, the head of crime intelligence, General Dumisani Khumalo, was onto something. The question is, what exactly? What was General Khumalo onto that Andre Johnson was trying to stop, together with the office of the police minister? That's the question I'm really asking.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
On Sunday, 26 July, celebrate the iconic rhythm that makes Joburg more than just a city. At the finish line of 702, Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk by Bize Bonke. Because this epic walk through the inner city all comes together with some of Jozi's favorite artists, such as Babawa M, Lebza De Villiers, The Boothle, Nomfundo Mo, Sam Deep, Citizen Deep, and Manana. So after you've taken the scenic route, join us at the finish line for an afternoon of fun and relaxation. 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Johannesburg.
Mzansi, get ready for your chance to win big. This Friday, you stand to win over 50 million rand in total estimated Powerball jackpots. That's over 50 million rand that could change your life instantly. Watch it live Friday at 9 p.m. Will you be SA's next multi-millionaire? Get your ticket now. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekaya.
Because behind every blood donation is a future still unfolding. A child's first day at school, a first job, a dream business, a first drive. For 25 years, blood donors have made these moments possible. In just 30 minutes, give someone another tomorrow. Be the lifeline. Give blood. Give it tomorrow. The South African National Blood Service.
Peregrine Capital presents Brian Habana's Count to 100.
In my journey to 100, it started with my first cap, then my second, 10th, 50th, 90th, 99th.
Brian Habana, his 100th international test.
You get to 100 one decision at a time. For 28 years, Peregrine Capital has applied that same discipline to turn 1 million rand into 100 million. Peregrine Capital. Invest in performance. An authorized FSP. Past performance non-indicative of future performance. T's and C's apply.
Incredible Mazda moments of wonder await around every scenic twist and turn at 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk. Because on Sunday, 26th July, you get to discover 5 Mazda wonder experiences on the 8-kilometer route from a stunning Japanese garden to a world of color. Visit one and share your wonder moments on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Then tag and follow at Mazda SA using hashtag Mazda SA, and you could win your share of 50,000 rand thanks to Mazda, where wonder awaits. Official vehicle partner of 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk. T's and C's apply. You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
23 minutes past 3 will not for the first time. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is engaged in a deep and extended and sometimes I would imagine fiercely contested conversation about a person who isn't there. And it all focuses on why they're not there and when they might appear. At the center of things, as you've probably guessed, the Northwest Province businessman Suleiman Karim. Questions being asked about whether the health reasons offered for his absence, not once but a number of times, are valid and how they're going to proceed from here. Let's pick up on the conversation there about the man who isn't there. Tabiso Goba is with us following the Madlanga Commission. Looking up at my screens, I see his counsel, Advocate Camille Premid, who's acted for him throughout this particular aspect of his appearance. Where are we now? There was a discussion earlier about whether all of this should be in camera. Clearly it's not, but we're deep into the process. What progress has been made? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. That application by Mr. Karim's lawyers to have this hearing be in private was rejected. Obviously, one of the reasons that was cited was medical privacy. However, the commission saying that, this is going to be in public. However, everyone, including the commissioners, the evidence leaders, and even Mr. Karim's lawyers must be careful not to obviously divulge any private medical information in public. Now, so far, John, we've only heard from the side of Mr. Karim's lawyers. The evidence leaders, Adila Hassim, hasn't spoken as yet, so we don't know what kind of information or arguments they are going to put forward. But what we understand is that there's already been a scheduled date. It's the 14th of August. So the commission, the Karim's lawyers and the commissioner and the evidence leaders have already agreed on the 14th of August. But the issue here, John, is that, as you said in the introduction, there's been quite a number of times that Mr. Suleiman Karim has been rescheduled to appear at the Madlanga Commission, but he has missed that because due to sickness. So what essentially the evidence leaders, or what we've gauged between the conversation between the evidence leaders, between Karim's lawyers and the commissioners, is that what the evidence leaders want is for Mr. Karim to be compelled to appear before the commission on the 14th of August because he has missed quite a number of previous scheduled appearances. So the idea that there's already been a rescheduled date, it doesn't mean anything if he's just going to miss it. Now, there's an issue we spoke about a couple of weeks ago around the issue of the videos of Mr. Karim being spotted at a Woolies in Cape Town and also having lunch at a restaurant also in Cape Town. Now, that hasn't been disputed by Mr. Camille Premid, who's representing Mr. Karim, who's saying that, yes, he was there in Cape Town. Yes, he does travel a lot. However, it is contextual. He does have a doctor in Cape Town, and it's not like he's someone who's bedridden. He does obviously have the pleasure of traveling a bit, but there is context. And even Mr. Camille Premid saying that it would be unnecessary to actually flight those images or those videos in this public hearing because they are not disputing that he was in Cape Town. They're not disputing the video evidence. They're saying that it's just contextual in terms of how it was taken.
Yes.
There's also another important issue, John, that was also mentioned by the evidence leaders, and this is regarding an independent medical examination, because the evidence leaders believe that obviously that Mr. Karim is not as sick as he says he is.
Right.
And they wanted him to be assessed by an independent medical professional. Now, Mr. Camille Premid has brought forward a letter by Mr. Karim's care doctor, his doctor saying that he's not opposed to Mr. Karim being assessed by a private medical or an independent medical professional. However, it doesn't have to be intrusive, and that the care doctor must also be part of that process. It can't happen without him. But the issue here is that Mr. Camille Premid, his lawyer, they haven't had instruction from Mr. Karim whether he would be willing to be part of that independent assessment. So there's still a question over whether Mr. Karim would be part or would subject himself to an independent medical assessment. As he said, that's for now, it only has been the arguments of Mr. Karim's lawyers. We do expect that the evidence leader, Adila Hassim, will obviously advance some of our arguments later on today.
Who boy, what can one say? I assume the doctor who is agreed to this now is the doctor who I think was subpoenaed to appear or asked to appear before, but then turned out that he was overseas. So all of that is proceeding. Sounds like they're making some progress, actually. I mean, that video footage is no longer in dispute. The only dispute is to whether it should be flighted in the commission. Of course, the real issue there, I suspect, would be that would then be seen by everybody and anybody who's either watching the Madlanga Commission or who might watch the news later or might go online to check out, for example, our EWN YouTube channel, where I'm sure that would appear as well. Sure. Okay. They're pushing along, but they're pushing at times, it would seem, through molasses. 29 minutes past 3.
Sharpen your competitive edge and get ready for the next installment of the Tournament of Champions. Do battle on the biggest stage and prepare for an epic showdown as you fight for your share of the 500,000 Rand prize. Bet R2 or more on selected spinner zonke slots to blaze a trail to the top of the leaderboard and claim victory.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
You're up before everyone else. You're building something real. Absa Business Banking, powered by Visa, gives you everything you need to get going. Open a business account in 10 minutes. Buy a point-of-sale device for $799 and get a credit card all in one place. We get it. Running a business is hard. Your banking shouldn't be. Search Business Starter Pack. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Welcome to Nando's. Taste-testimonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Dolly from Bottersig is vegetarian-ish, with a reputation to uphold. Here's what she whispered about the half chicken and a single side for $125.
What? I don't eat chicken, but for Nando's, I make the exception.
Well, good thing there's a salad on the side, for appearances. Of course. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Drivers, winter fatigue creeps in faster than you think. That heater may keep you warm, but it can also make you drowsy. Crack a window. Take your rest breaks seriously. Stay fresh, stay focused, because when you're behind the wheel of a heavy vehicle, fatigue doesn't just risk your life, it risks everyone's. So stay alert, stay visible, and stay safe. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Transport.
When Joburg walks with the people, for the people, on Sunday, 26 July, everybody will come together at the finish line of 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk.
Walk the talk.
Bambize bonke. As Josie's favorite artists bring an epic afternoon of fun to the people, featuring Babalwa M, Lebza Defilian, Vibuhle, Nomfundo Mo, Sam Deep, Citizen Deep, and Manana. So, after you've taken the scenic route, join us at the finish line and celebrate the iconic rhythm that makes Joburg more than just a city.
It's Joburg.
702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
"28 minutes to 4, the High Court in the Western Cape has reached a decision on the president's interdict. Some political parties, Maki Balapo, I understand, are not all that happy.
That's right, John. Good afternoon. Opposition parties have expressed their disappointment at the High Court's decision to interdict the Section 89 committee from proceeding with its inquiry into President Cyril Ramaphosa. The Western Cape High Court today ruled in favor of the president, who wanted the Section 89 inquiry to be halted pending a review of the independent panel report, which gave rise to the inquiry. But parties like the official opposition, MK Party, and the African Transformation Movement say this further protects Ramaphosa from accounting to Parliament. Babala Ndenze has more.
Today, the Western Cape High Court has interdicted Parliament's Section 89 impeachment inquiry for a limited time. The ruling is until the same court makes a determination in the review of the independent panel report that led to the inquiry being established by the National Assembly. Reacting to the judgment, the MK Party's Anile Mngitama bemoaned at the fact that a lower court has halted the inquiry after the Constitutional Court ordered Parliament to institute inquiry proceedings.
Basically, this is an overturning of the decision
of the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court is the apex court, is the highest decision-making court in this country.
ATM MP Vuyo Zungula says Ramaphosa still has a case to answer.
We can't, as South Africans, allow this issue to go to bed, regardless of the state institutions that are used to try and suppress this accountability mechanism.
The MK party says while their options are limited, they will be getting legal advice on how to proceed. Baba Londenze, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
The Pretoria High Court has heard how former Speaker of Parliament Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula allegedly solicited a bribe for a contractor under the guise of having a dream to interpret for her. Mapisa-Nqakula's trial kicked off in the Pretoria High Court this week. She's accused of soliciting 4.5 million rand from Nombasa Nzondwa-Ndlovu, a supplier in the National Defence Force. Mapisa-Nqakula was Defence Minister between 2014 and 2021. Khomotso Modise has more.
The state star witness Nombasa Nzondwa-Ndlovu is taking the court through each instance that former Defence Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula allegedly solicited a bribe from her. Yesterday, the court heard that they'd agreed to use terms related to their ancestral calling when talking about bribes because they are both traditional healers. This morning, she's taken the court through an incident where the former minister allegedly called her to her Bruma home, claiming to have had a dream that she needs to interpret to Nzondwa-Ndlovu. But she claims to have known that the request was for a bribe to be delivered. She's also told the court that when she arrived, Mapisa-Nqakula said nothing about a dream, but instead started speaking about the renovations in her home, mentioning that they'd become more expensive than expected. She says after Mapisa-Nqakula asked for it, she gave the minister 150,000 rand wrapped in an FNB money bag. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Pretoria High Court.
And the Forestry, Fisheries and Environment Department says mussels and oysters from the Saldanha Bay Aquaculture Development Zone are safe to eat again. Earlier this year, the department reported dangerously high levels of paralytic shellfish toxins in the shellfish off the west coast, which can be life-threatening if ingested. Mihle George has more.
The Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment Department issued an alert 2 months ago, warning the public not to collect or eat wild shellfish from Saldanha Bay after toxins were detected off the west coast. Officials say the levels were more than 15 times above the legal safety limit. As a result, shellfish harvesting was suspended in Saldanha Bay since May to protect public health. The department has now confirmed these toxin levels in mussels and oysters from the Saldanha Bay Aquaculture Development Zone have returned to safety levels. Harvesting has resumed and the shellfish can be sold and served up. Mihle George, Eyewitness News.
A look at your weather. It's clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 20 and 23 degrees.
In Benoni, there is a crash on the R21 South at the R23. Middle lane is closed. Please drive carefully. And in Captain Park, there is a crash on the R21 South before Voortrekker Road. Please drive carefully.
The top story in Eyewitness News. Opposition parties have expressed their disappointment at the High Court's decision to interdict the Section 89 committee from proceeding with its inquiry into President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The resignation of David Masondo as the chairperson of the Public Investment Corporation. It comes as the PIC faces one of its biggest governance crises in history. The PIC manages over 3 trillion rand in state employee pension assets, and it's been rocked by a leadership crisis. This serious crisis is also because the PIC has been found wanting over high-risk, unvetted and poorly structured transactions.
Well, this is a serious moment, of course, in the institutions. I would not really trade in the labels.
This issue of this Apacalpo deal and the Lanceria matter, I mean, that's what's led to the suspension of the permanent CEO. What is your response in terms of what's been in the media about all of this? I mean, this will certainly impact public confidence in the PIC.
Yeah, no, I do understand why you would ask that, but I'm not going to characterize this matter as it's under the independent investigation.
Do you want the top job?
Oh no, my task right now is stewardship.
Batando Damoy, CFO at the Public Investment Corporation.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9
on 702.
When you're unfairly treated by your bank, insurer, pension fund or financial advisor, who do you turn to when things go wrong? South Africa's financial ombuds system, overseen by the Ombud Council, provides free, fair and impartial dispute resolution. Visit their stand this Sunday at the 702 Jozi Majozi Walk the Talk and meet the National Financial Ombud, the Phase Ombud and the Pension Fund's adjudicator to learn more about your rights to fair treatment. Go to ombudcouncil.org.za for more info.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com.
Joburg, it's time to show up for our city. On Sunday, 26 July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk in proud partnership with Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the positive growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner, passionate about the growth of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement that's helping build a safer, stronger, and spirited Jozi for generations to come. Register now and take the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good day, John. Happy Friday to the 702 family. Two things that age me is the grey hair and also my forgetfulness. Yeah, that's the two.
Hi, John. There's one thing that I can remember that aged me very quick was the last Rugby World Cup. Every game that the Springboks were playing, we were just on knife edge every minute, till even the last game. That period just aged me. It was exciting. It was also just sad that time when we lost with Ireland. But yeah, the triumph, it was the best feeling, and I guess the whole country also felt that we all aged, and yeah, wow.
Yes. Good day, Jonathan and Kabazela and the team. Oh, what's aged me is definitely taking care of my ailing mother. It's very emotional. It's very physical. Yeah, so that's really, really aged me. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for those. What aged you? And we've moved between two very, very different things. I mean, that string of 1-point victories in the Rugby World Cup, and there's a kind of exhaustion that you don't quite get back when the games end in victories somehow. And then there's, something I think far more profound, nursing an aging parent, or it could be an aging partner, or anyone in those circumstances through their final years, which invariably are difficult. And that I think is draining in a much more fundamental way. And I'm not making light of the sports example, because a little later I might share one of those of my own. But I think they're different parts of the same conversation, or different responses, perhaps, should I say, to the same question. Let's have yours, please, on 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. It's 17 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Tolakela, we've got some flying fish in the pool, it would seem.
Absolutely, John. And day 2 of the Commonwealth Games has proved productive for Team South Africa, with Peter Kutsia winning the men's 50-meter backstroke heat with a game's record of 24.45 seconds to advance to tonight's final.
It's nice to have an extra event that you don't really train for, that you can still push yourself in and have fun in. And to me, it's this one and the 100 freestyle. So I'm glad to start it off with a less important event to warm up.
Danica Vinca has rewritten the African record books as she clocked a time of 1 minute 05.13 seconds in the women's 100 meter freestyle to secure a place in tonight's final. Meanwhile, Erin Gallagher will compete in the women's 50 meter butterfly semis, Michael Hall in the men's 100 meter breaststroke semis, and Hannah Robson alongside Dune Kutsia in the women's 400 meter freestyle final. Switching to football, where Peter Musimane has confirmed that he's held talks with SAFA about succeeding Hugo Bruges as Bafana Bafana's head coach. The Belgian mentor's deal ends on July 31st, while South Africa have AFCON 2027 qualifiers coming up in September.
That bar, it is high, but it has been achieved before. We cannot just say it's a high bar and I left Sundowns, I won the treble. They've won the league how many times after I've left? So really, we can all do it, right? So no one is really, we can say, indispensable or, oh, what are we going to do? Come on, we can do a little bit better, right?
Jurgen Klopp has been appointed Germany's head coach as he's tasked with rebuilding the struggling European giants. Klopp's contract is until 2030's World Cup after he publicly spoke of his desire to take on the role after Julian Nagelsmann resigned earlier in July. Klopp has been working as Red Bull's head of global soccer, and while the federation didn't have to pay a fee to end his contract, they will make a donation of €1 million to the Wings for Life charity foundation. Switching over to England, where Elliot Anderson declared City the King of Manchester after completing his move from Nottingham Forest on a 5-year contract. The deal was agreed earlier this month but finalised this week following the player's return from the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest derbies in the world, and for as long as I've known Manchester, City has been the kings of Manchester. So yeah, it'll be a great fixture, and I can't wait to be involved in something like that.
Meanwhile, City's World Cup winner Rodri will undergo minor surgery on his back, which means he'll miss the start of the Premier League season. The Spain captain has suffered ACL, hamstring and groin injuries over the last 2 seasons, which have limited him to just 17 league matches. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Right, at 3:45, let's update you on what's happening out on the roads in the traffic. Lisego Singo, I believe we have problems on the R21. What's happening there?
Yes, John, that's right. In Captain Park, there is a crash on the R21 South before Voortrekker Road. Please drive carefully. And also there's a crash on the... there's a stationary vehicle on the N1 South at Linwood Road. Right lane is closed. Please drive carefully. And in the CBD, there's a multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North ramp to the Golden Highway. Also drive carefully. In Germiston, traffic is slow on the M2 East. That is when heading into Refinery Road, causing delays. In Selby, there is slow-moving traffic from Selby to Crown on Main Reef Road. Amalgam, slow-moving traffic on Chess Street, also on the M2 East and on Industrial Road. And then in Tshwane, in Centurion, there's a crash on the N1 South before Bertha Avenue. Expect delays. And in Pire van Reineveld, there's queuing traffic from Pretoria to Centurion on the N1 South. That's when, or if you head into Johannesburg or Krugersdorp via the N14. Remember to report any traffic incidents on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, still to come on the show in a moment. Earlier this week, it was International Chess Day. And we're going to take a look at the sport of chess from a very particular perspective. My guest, who I'll introduce shortly, has done a study on the role of chess in the educational development of children in rural South African schools, specifically in a particular part of rural KZN up on the north coast. Fascinating study, a really important subject, I think, and I'm really looking forward to that conversation that's coming your way in a moment.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Tolakele, what in your life has aged you?
The additional responsibilities that have come with adulthood, whether it's at church, at work, but also more importantly, in my family, because why am I a crucial member of family meetings? I used to just enjoy being there for the gossip.
Yes.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm required to give like an input and contribute money.
Yeah.
Why? Because that money is for my nonsense things. But those things have truly aged me because now I also have to think like 2 steps ahead and make sure I have a policy for that. And I'm thinking about this thing in December when they're saying we should be doing all of these things. Yeah, that has aged me.
We had someone call in and say, the Springboks 1 point victory, 1 point victory, 1 point victory, winning the World Cup aged him. And I wonder if you then win the World Cup, do you get those years, weeks, months, days back? Or do you remain aged? I ask because, when I was watching Arsenal, eventually winning the Premier League last year, every once in a while I was saying, this is aging me. And then, of course, you get a message like this one from Anonymous who said, what ages me is unemployment as an educator and poverty, which puts that into perspective. But if you get aged by something, do you get it back?
You never do, because also the thing about sport is the success comes, but it's for that one day. And then for maybe like 10 months, you get to brag to your rivals that, hey, we're the champions. Then your team loses like the league title the next day. What aged me was watching the 2011 Champions League final. I don't know if you remember it, John. It's the one where Sir Alex Ferguson bunched his hands.
United versus Bayern.
Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
I will never watch the repeat of that game. That game, it didn't even age me. It killed me emotionally to the point where I was like, Messi, you're forever my up. I wish you the best. But that day,
Keep watching it and it'll get better.
Oh, 22 years, John. You would know, wouldn't you?
Keep watching. It'll get better or not. 702 Drive, it's 10 to 4.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Right. This is something I've been looking forward to. I noted earlier in the week that it was International Chess Day, and then did some Googling about South Africans who might have done some research on the implications and the usefulness of introducing chess into schools in terms of educational development, personal development of learners. And this one really, really caught my eye because it looks at children in rural areas, and it is the work of my next guest. She is Dr. Ntando Kamenzi Dlamini, who is a senior lecturer in the School of Teacher Education at UNISA, the University of South Africa. Dr. Dlamini, welcome to 702 Drive, and thanks so much for giving us your time.
Thank you, John. Greetings to you and the listeners.
You did your research in the King Cetshwayo district of KZN. My understanding of it, somewhere between Richards Bay, Mtuba, and then the hinterland as well, and all the small villages and communities there. First of all, what was these young learners' access to chess in the first place? Was it introduced as part of a program? How did they get introduced to the game to get us going?
Well, yes, there was a program that was run in the King Cetshwayo district in KZN. The program was also run in other provinces, like Gauteng and the Western Cape, but in KZN it was in the King Cetshwayo district.
Okay, so please carry on.
Yes, so in the King Cetshwayo district, in the Richards Bay area and Inkandla area, that's where the program was being piloted at the time. So if it's successful, then it was going to be spread to other sections.
So what did you look to better understand, and what did you find?
Well, my research was about, it was basically just exploring the role of chess in education.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know how chess contributes to children's development and what factors influence the successful implementation of chess programs in schools. I found that chess can help learners develop important skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, planning, and decision making. However, successful implementation of chess also depends on teachers receiving adequate support and resources.
Did you find that the teachers themselves had any exposure to the game and were confident in bringing learners along?
Yes, I did check that when I did their research, and most of the teachers that were part of the program had no exposure to chess before. So they had to be taught the game, and then they were expected to go and teach the learners. Yeah.
You said, Dr. Dlamini, that one of the things you're looking at is, or that this introduction of chess was meant to achieve that if this could be successfully done in King Cetshwayo, Richards Bay, and Nkandla, as you mentioned, that there would then be a plan to spread the game. Did that ever happen? And if not, why not?
Well, even though the name of the program was Moves for Life,
Okay.
I was not part of the program per se. I was just checking the successful implementation of chess in schools. So my findings showed that while chess could be successfully implemented, there were certain things that are needed, like support to the teachers, like resources, like motivation of the teachers, even skills of the teachers, like they had to know how to play the game. But of course, for them to know how to play the game, they had to be interested. They had to be that motivated. Yes. So that was one of the challenges that that I found from the research that I conducted.
I'm a huge believer, Dr. Dlamini, in the importance of extracurricular activities as part of school. And the one thing I do see the potential for in chess is, first of all, two children could play the game. You don't have to depend on, a whole program to be organized. The equipment needs to be there, but it's relatively simple once you have a chess set. All you need is a flat surface. And you can always improvise that if there isn't a desk available, which there usually is. But the backup training seemed to be one of the more complicated things. If someone were to say to you, Dr. Dlamini, listen, we really think the potential contribution of chess to young people's intellectual curiosity and development is huge, and we need to roll this out. What would the training of teachers or teachers' assistants perhaps be the first place to start? Is that the most important thing that you think was missing?
Yes, but before the training, it's the interest.
Yes.
I'm interested. Would they be willing to learn? Because it's something else to take someone who has not even said they would like to learn the game of chess, and then you train them because they have to now. They've been told to go and learn and then come back and teach. But then there are people who are really interested, who would like to learn how to play the game, and then they would go back to their schools and disseminate their knowledge.
Did you get any sense as to whether the kids were having fun? I mean, leaving aside the perhaps deeper questions of, academic and intellectual enhancement, but when you came across kids playing, were they playing in numbers and were they enjoying themselves?
Oh, yes, a lot. They really liked it. Even myself, I used to be a teacher before in primary school before I became a lecturer. Yes, that's where actually my interest in this research area started. I learned to play chess from Mrs. Griffith, who was training teachers from schools who belonged to this program that we've just mentioned, Moves for Life. So my own school wasn't part of the program, but she didn't tell me away. So she welcomed me to the training, and I learned the game and went back to school to teach my learners. And then when they learned, started playing the game, they flourished. They competed up to the national level. I then noticed them growing in confidence, discipline, thinking, and other skills, which made me curious about chess influences in thinking, learning, and that curiosity eventually led me to this research area. So what I'm trying to say is that learners, children, are always interested in playing games, and chess is just so much fun. They enjoy it.
Thank you so much. And I've really enjoyed chatting to Dr. Ntando Kamenzi Tlamini, joining us from the School of Teacher Education at UNISA. I want to pick up on this conversation again. But in the meanwhile, if you've been involved with chess and children in some way, give me your thoughts on this. It seems to me to be an excellent game from so many different points of view. Maybe you've been involved in spreading it into rural areas or communities where kids haven't had a chance to play the game before. Maybe you've got a young person in your life who took up the game and you might have noted whether it's been a positive thing for them or just plain fun. We should never underestimate the importance of that, in my view. Call me with your thoughts on 072 702 1702.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
I've been looking at the testimony of the head of IDAC, Ms. Johnson. I can't help but feel like the establishment of IDAC was for nothing other than political reasons. Questions that are posed to her, the lack of response, and more specifically, the issue of Fadil Adams. How it is now becoming apparent that much of the charges he laid against certain members of the intelligence were fed to him by people from IDAC.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
When the Josie My Josie Walk the Talk happens this Sunday, we want to make your day as seamless as possible. We've got the park and shuttle service for that. The color of your wristband contained in your walk number pack corresponds with your designated collection point and grants you access onto the shuttle. Monte Casino is red, Greenstone Shopping Centre is green. Clearwater Mall is blue and Gold Reef City Casino is white. Please ensure that you are at your designated pickup point at least 30 minutes before your intended departure time. Shuttle buses will depart from all park and shuttle pickup points. They go every 30 minutes, starting from 5:30 a.m. So see you, finally, at the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
Sanzi, get ready for your chance to win big. This Friday, you stand to win over 50 million rand in total estimated Powerball jackpots. That's over 50 million rand that could change your life instantly. Watch it live Friday at 9 p.m. Will you be SA's next multi-millionaire? Get your ticket now. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisakai.
Since its establishment in 1990, thousands of successful leaders in the legal profession have walked through the doors of the Law Society of South Africa's School for Legal Practice. Not only do we promote professional training, but our lead schools across the country provide training in over 25 learning programs. For the best practical vocational training course for future leaders, come to LEAD. Visit our website on lssalead.org.za. LEAD, your #1 school for legal education.
This is EWN.
Kareem's doctor unopposed to an unintrusive independent medical exam, and former Defence Minister alleged to have promised a promotion for a multi-million rand bribe. Good afternoon, I'm Maiki Molapo. We begin with the latest coming out of the capital. The doctor of controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Kareem says he's not opposed to an independent medical examination of his patient, provided it's not intrusive. Kareem has missed several appearances at the Madlanga Commission due to an undisclosed illness. The commission is currently hearing a postponement application by Kareem. Evidence leaders at the commission have previously flighted an idea of having Kareem assessed by another medical professional. Kareem's lawyer, Camille Premide, read into record a response from his client's doctor.
This is what the deleterious effect of a compelled imposition of a third-party medical practitioner would be for what he is doing, but not to say that that's a total outruling of less intrusive means, provided that whatever the less intrusive means are, plays a suitably respectful role of him as the treating doctor.
However, Permit says he hasn't received instruction on whether Karim would be willing to subject himself to an independent medical exam. Staying in the capital in the courts, the Pretoria High Court has heard how former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula allegedly tried to score a R2 million bribe from a contractor of the SANDF, promising to secure a promotion for her husband. Mapisa-Nqakula is on trial for corruption and money laundering for allegedly soliciting bribes of up to R4.5 million from Nomba Sansonda Ndlovu. The alleged incidents date back to 2016 when she was Defence Minister. Nsonda Ndlovu was the sole director of Umkhombe Marine and had secured several defence logistics tenders. Khomotso Modise has more.
The state star witness Nomba Sansonda Ndlovu is the wife of Major General Noel Ndlovu, a military doctor and a senior member of the South African Defence Force. Today, she told the court that in September 2018, while she was delivering a 150,000 rand bribe at the home of former Defence Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula in Bruma, the minister brought up her husband and his imminent promotion. Nzondwa Ndlovu believes her husband, who was Deputy Surgeon General, was next in line for the position of Surgeon General, as General Aubrey Sidibe was due for retirement. However, she says while Mapisa-Nqakula was not the ultimate decision maker on the appointment, she could have influenced it. But she says she did not accede to the minister's request because she believed her husband would be appointed. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The Government Employee Pension Fund is reassuring its more than 1.2 million members and pensioners that their retirement savings remain secure despite the governance turmoil at the Public Investment Corporation. This follows the resignation and suspension of several PIC board members, including the chairperson. The GEPF says it's closely monitoring developments and remains engaged with both the Finance Minister and the PIC. Anelita Fandese has more.
The Government Employees Pension Fund says while it is concerned about the leadership crisis at the Public Investment Corporation, there is no risk to members' pensions. The PIC manages more than 2 trillion rand on behalf of the GEPF, but the fund says members' benefits are guaranteed by law because it is a defined benefit pension fund. GEPF says it has been engaging both the Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana and the PIC, seeking assurances that the governance upheaval will not affect investment decisions or the management of pension assets. The GEPF says it will continue monitoring the situation and will act within its legal and fiduciary responsibilities if necessary to protect members' interests. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
And the country's agriculture sector is facing another shift in trade with the United States after Washington raised tariffs on imports from several countries, including South Africa. Farmers are breathing a cautious sigh of relief after Washington raised tariffs on South African goods to 12.5%, well below the 30% level that had previously been threatened. While the increase is smaller than initially feared, concerns remain about what it means for exporters and the broader farming sector. Chief economist of the Agricultural Business Chamber of South Africa, Wandile Sihlobo, says there's further relief for exporters, with some of the country's biggest agricultural products remaining exempt from the new tariffs.
Just a few months ago, we were hit by much higher tariffs in the US, 30% tariffs. So to be at these levels that we are in and in line with our competitors is something that I think at least means that South Africa could still continue to do business fairly well in agricultural products in the US.
Gold's trading at $4,063.87 an ounce. The rand's at 16.85 to the dollar, at 22.45 to the pound, at 19.17 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.79 a barrel.
In Germiston, traffic is slow on the M2 East. That's when heading into Refinery Road, causing delays. And in Selby, there's slow-moving traffic from Selby to Crown on Main Reef Road.
In your sport, Peter Ketsia breaks Commonwealth Games record in the 50-meter backstroke heat. Pitso Mosimane admits to Bafana Bafana talks. And Jurgen Klopp handed the task of reviving Germany's football fortunes.
A look at your weather. A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng. Tomorrow, Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 7 degrees and peak at highs of 19. Pretoria is at 5 and 21. Vereniging's at a nippy 1 and a high of 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The doctor of controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim says he's not opposed to an independent medical examination of his patient, provided it's not intrusive.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. It is 8 minutes past 4 on this Friday. Are you walking with us on Sunday? Please say yes. Really, really looking forward to this. We are going to be 25,000 strong. I can't guarantee that I'm going to get to meet all of you, but we will have a very, very strong sense of your presence, whether we get to bump into you or not. Thank you so much for all the support. Sunday is going to be utterly memorable, and I'm really looking forward to it. And hopefully, amongst the 25,000, I will get to bump into you. But if you are unable to walk, you can always go to primemediaplus.com and you can look at streaming pictures of that on our website. You'll get a real sense of it. We'll have some reporters along the way chatting to the walkers, and you can get the full visual splendor of the 702 Jozi My Jozi takeover of the center of Johannesburg, if only for a morning. Here's to a great, great walk and great weather on Sunday. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk in a moment to Dr. Kingsley Makubela. He's a former diplomat of vast experience and analyst of international affairs. And the reason we wanted to speak to him is the United Nations is in the process of choosing a new Secretary General. The process itself, by the way, is very, very interesting. Who has a say and who doesn't? But crucially, what does the Secretary General actually do? And when a new one comes in, do they actually change the way the UN goes about things? Do they have programmatic ideas of their own? Or is it just another steady hand on a familiar ship traveling in a well-worn direction? We'll find out all of that and more from Dr. Makubela, who joins us shortly. Later in the show, Randall's One Song. Later than that, after 5, Dr. Tapelo Tsilapidi, who's a senior lecturer in the Department of Political Studies at the University of the Western Cape, joins us to give us his take on what happens next, both legally but crucially politically as well, following the decision in the High Court in the Western Cape in regard to President Cyril Ramaphosa looking to stay the activities of the Parliamentary Committee on Phala-Phala. I nearly called it a portfolio committee, but I think that's a structure of a different kind. After that, later in the show, 20 to 6, we'll talk to a young filmmaker who's won a prize, a significant prize for a documentary about a lion cub. Yeah, looking forward to that, both the film and the conversation. 11 minutes past 4 o'clock.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, 702 Landers. Yo, when these kids greet me and they're like, hello, Dimamzo, or at the office, they're like, Dumelang Ausi. I'm like, gosh, Dimamzo, do I look that old?
Hi, John. We don't realize how much food ages us, like the type of food we eat. So I've been eating unhealthy for the past 5 years or so, and it really aged me. I've been looking after my skin and my face, but my body especially. So it's aged me, it's increased my health age as well. So food is one of the biggest ages that people just take for granted.
Wow, John. I'm still mind-boggled, by the fact that Mr. Karim has not appeared before the commission. I think that he is playing a game. I don't know what game this is that he is playing. Because, if he has the pleasure of traveling and he is not bedridden and he has a doctor in Cape Town, he can have a doctor on the day that he comes to the commission. I don't see why that should be such a deal. But I think he's going to be singing, obviously, and he's going to be implicating a lot of people. Maybe he's not ready to do so because we know how he gets his tenders.
Yeah, it really is a very, very important matter. And it is, by the way, currently in session. Adila Hassim, evidence leader, is engaging with the I would assume, the evidence and argument put forward by Suleiman Karim's counsel, Camille Premit. And that's probably going to go on well into the afternoon. Updates regularly on that from Tabiso Gorbo, who's watching that. We'll have a news headlines for you at 4:30, and full bulletin coming up at 5 and again at 6. So trust me, anything significant out of Madlanga, you'll get to hear about it right here from EWN on 702 Drive, 13 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Lesego Singo is your man watching the roads for you. What have you got? Good afternoon.
Yes, thanks, John. We have a voice note from one of our Eyewitness News listeners. So, telling us...
Hi, Osman from Johannesburg. Just want to give a traffic update. Traffic is stupid on the M1 North. Probably something silly like ANC traffic light not working, one of the off-ramps causing all the drama. But yeah, M1 North, M1 South has the same issue as well. Moving very slowly and sometimes stand still. So avoid it.
Yes, John, I had it written here. Also, as you have heard from one of our Eyewitness News listeners, there is bumper-to-bumper traffic around the M1 North and South. And also in the CBD, there's a multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North ramp to the Golden Highway. Please drive carefully. And in Captain Park, there is a crash on the R21 South before Voortrekker Road. Please drive carefully. In Melrose Estate, heavy traffic on Glenhove Road causing delays. In Rosebank, there is traffic clocked on Oxford Road. In Germiston, traffic is slow on the M2 East. That is when heading into the Refinery Road, causing delays. And in Selby, there is slow-moving traffic from Selby to Crown on Main Reef Road. Amalgam slow-moving traffic on Church Street, also on the M2 East and on Industrial Road. In Centurion, there is a crash on the R21 South at Nalmapias Drive. Please drive carefully. And also in Pierre van Reinefeld, there is queuing traffic from Pretoria to Centurion on the N1 South. That's when, or if you head into Johannesburg or Krugersdorp on the N14. Remember to report any traffic incidents on X at EWN Traffic or WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
30 minutes watching your favorite series goes by quickly, but 30 minutes stuck in traffic feels like a lifetime. Thankfully, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the day. These heroes in green and purple have been easing traffic congestion for the past 20 years. The Outsurance pointsmen helping everyone get where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using #PointsmenLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
David Masondo has resigned as the chairperson of the Public Investment Corporation ahead of a shareholder meeting scheduled by Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana. The resignation comes as the PIC battles one of the biggest governance crises in its history. In a statement, Masondo says he's stepping down in the interest of the country, the stability of the PIC, and the confidence of the millions of South Africans whose retirement savings are managed by the state asset manager. But Masondo, who also serves as the country's deputy finance minister, insists that investigations into governance failures at the PIC must continue and not be quietly abandoned.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Every community has a story and every community deserves fast, affordable internet. Net99 brings prepaid fiber to South African townships, connecting homes, hustlers and families with reliable, uncapped internet. Get connected from just 379 Rand per month with Mahala installation and enjoy the freedom to learn, work, stream, create and connect without limits. This Sunday, 26 July, join Net99 at the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk event at Ellis Park and meet the team behind one of Mzansi's fastest growing internet service providers and the official Wi-Fi partner of Walk the Talk 2026. Net99, be a hero.
Sanzi, get ready for your chance to win big. This Friday, you stand to win over 50 million rand in total estimated Powerball jackpots. That's over 50 million rand that could change your life instantly. Watch it live Friday at 9 p.m. Will you be SA's next multi-millionaire? Get your ticket now. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekhaya.
In the 1960s, Douglas Engelbart had a thought. What if you could jump from one idea to another with just a click? That question led him to pioneer how hypertext would work. And this laid the foundation of how we navigate the internet today. See, whether you're reinventing the future or building something new, you need the right foundations to start. At Exnilo, we give you the right foundation to host your big idea. Exnilo. Trusted in hosting.
On Sunday, 26 July, the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment will be walking with you and the rest of Joburg in the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Because amazing things happen when Joburg walks together for a cleaner and safer city. So do your part by separating recyclables using designated bins and never littering or dumping waste illegally. This message was brought to you by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment, the official environmental partner of 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. More on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Hi, John. One thing that has aged me has definitely got to be marriage. I married 2 years ago. I married a man who had 2 teenage children, and then we subsequently had our own. And I think as much as it is rewarding and it brings so much joy just to have this stable family unit, but one thing that is that is underestimated is the amount of time that women actually spend taking care of family, whether it is the cleaning, the cooking, the shopping for groceries and clothing and everything, and just generally prioritizing everybody's well-being over your own. I think really women and moms are really, really underestimated, and we need more gratitude really channeled towards them.
John, what aged me is my teeth. Oh my word, my teeth are yellow, just like Sundown's spot kit color. Even my wife, sometimes when I talk to her, she's all sometimes covering her nose because you can't even see my teeth. Oh my word, oh my word.
Yeah, we asked you what has aged you. Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702. I asked you, by the way, particularly if you've lived in rural parts of South Africa and grown up there, whether chess played any part in your life. And Perry sends this wonderful message which reads like this. I'm matriculated at Giani High in rural Limpopo. You have no idea what playing chess did to my maths and physics marks. I'll forever be grateful for the game, and I'm now teaching my 4-year-old to play. 21 minutes past 4.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So a very interesting process underway at the United Nations in New York last night. 6 candidates who are all vying to be the next Secretary General of the United Nations presented their visions in a town hall format. The Security Council will deliberate, they will quiz the candidates, and they will present someone to the General Assembly for further discussion. We'll talk about the 6 candidates in a moment, but let's first welcome our guest. Joining us to discuss this is Dr. Kingsley Makobela, a diplomat of vast experience and now the director at risk Recon and a regular analyst with us on 702 Drive on International Matters. Dr. Makubela, welcome and thanks very much for your time. Before we look at the candidates, the actual role of the Secretary General, do they kind of steer a ship that's already heading in a particular direction with a well-established crew, or can a Secretary General come in, shake things up and do things differently? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. The Secretary General of the United Nations has enormous power because at his disposal or her disposal, it's all the specialized agencies of the United Nations that sometimes some of them deal with health matters and so on. So he has enormous power, and the expertise that exists within specialized agencies is quite vast. So the influence that he has, it's quite huge, John.
Okay, so it's a very, very important position. Looking at the candidates, and you'll guide me on this, my understanding is there's an unwritten rule about rotation, that it should move to different regions and continents. Overwhelmingly, candidates from South America, there are 4, one from Central America, Costa Rica, and we've got a single African contestant, Macky Sall, the former president of Senegal. Is rotation crucial? Is this a major factor in who might be chosen or not?
Absolutely. Rotation is very important. It's unwritten, as you say, but the precedent that has been set in the past, John, is that it rotates amongst regional groups. It was term of Africa. Now it was the Europeans, the West European, to be very specific, who had their term. So now the rotation comes to Latin America and the Caribbean, because there's a regional group that is there. That's why you'll see amongst the 5 contending candidates, the 6 contending candidates, 5 are from Latin America. I don't know what former president of Senegal, President Sall, wants in this. He's been nominated by Burundi. Not even his own government,
yes.
Senegal, has nominated him. And that's the irony of this. I don't know why does he get himself in the mix. He's unlikely even to go through the first round. When the Security Council meets, they are going to start negotiating, and they're going to deal with actually those who don't even qualify. And I think he will be the first to say it's not his region. So they're going to take him out definitely.
So, I mean, when I look at the list, and I don't know much about these people, I'm going on the barest details of their CVs, but there are certainly some heavyweights there, quite a number of whom are, I think it's fair to say, UN and multilateral organization insiders. So there's Michelle Bachelet Geria, perhaps, former president of Chile, also former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. There's Rafael Mariano Grossi, who's from Argentina, director of the International Atomic Energy Agency. There are others who have similar profiles. Maria Fernanda Espinosa Garcez, who is a former Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ecuador, but a former president of the UN General Assembly. Pick a winner, because they seem to be it really is a heavyweight battle from what I can see.
You know, if you look at the list, Michelle Bachelet, I think she stands a very good chance. She's been nominated by 3 countries so far, Chile, Brazil, and Mexico. Now, the 3 countries are big and heavyweights in Latin America. So she's likely to make it. And she has had vast experience as the former High Commissioner, as you were saying, for human rights. A great deal of respect exists within South America for her. Now, the problem is Ecuador. You know, there's been tension between Mexico and Ecuador following in 2024, I think, the government of Ecuador stormed the embassy of Mexico in Quito to take out the former vice president of Ecuador who has been hiding there and taking refuge there because complaining that the new government wanted to take him out. So that's a serious violation of the Vienna Convention.
Yes.
The diplomatic mission are inviolable. Now, to get somebody in the Secretary General who's supported by a government that is behaving in that manner, I think it has tarnished his image. Now, if you look at other candidates, however strong they may be, I think the one who stands a very good chance is Michelle Bachelet. Remember, John, the Security Council will go into seclusion sometimes next week to look at this list. and any member of the Security Council can veto this. If you look at Mario Grossi, he's the head of the IAEA. There's been serious concerns about him in terms of the leaks that comes from Iran.
Yes.
A nuclear program. There will be some level of uncomfortable between Russia and China, and they may veto that if they are. So they will look for a consensus candidate. And if you look at the consensus candidate, the level of experience and the gravity of the point, Michelle Bachelet, she meets this. The only challenge the Americans may have, because she's a center left. She comes from a center left in Chile. But the center left in Chile are a non-factor now. The government that is there now is a center right. So I don't think they would feel very fearful. They've had a good working relationship with her, as she was the High Commissioner for Human Rights. So I think she's likely to pass. She's likely to be accepted by everyone within the P5. These are the permanent members of the Security Council.
Thank you so much. Fascinating. Dr. Kingsley Makobela, former diplomat and director at Risk Recon, the process to choose the 10th Secretary General of the United Nations. And if his prediction or expectation is correct, for the first time in the history of the United Nations, from 1946 to now, which is 80 years, the UN Secretary General might well be a woman. 702 Drive. It's 28 minutes past 4.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. The market's better today, certainly in terms of the all-share. I don't know what the other numbers are telling us.
Good afternoon, John. Yeah, not terrible considering everything that's moving around at the moment, and we are up on the day. I must say, most of the developments coming internationally, and that's having an impact on us in other ways. So there have been new tariffs imposed by the Trump administration overnight, around 10% for many people, 12.5% for us. All of this on, long-running trading partners of the US, EU, China, for example. The claim is that these countries, all 50 of them, are not properly enforcing bans on forced labor. Well, John, okay. If that's the case, well, then, Mr. Trump, why is it that we can still sell our oranges, our nuts, our guavas, our platinum, our gold, our manganese there without the tariff? Obviously, our mining and our guava farmers are not using forced labor and everyone else is? Okay. So that seems to be the argument from the Trump administration. But that's having an impact on markets around the world. And then, of course, oil prices being slightly lower than yesterday because the shock's wearing off a little bit. But, John, oil prices at $95 still. We're not looking at a year of global growth here, and certainly not South African growth. That means, and it's had a big impact on the rand, and inching closer, I'm afraid, to 17 rand to the dollar. And this is partly helped by the interest rate hold yesterday when everybody, including me, was expecting an increase. As a result, the JSE All Shares, you say, up 0.83%, 109,233 points. Financials up 1.2%, industrials up 0.65%, resources up 0.87% on the day. Kumba, the big victor, they're up nearly 4%. Harmony is up 3.5%. DLD Gold also up 2.5%. So the gold mine is doing nicely. Investec up 3%. Canal Plus up 3% as well. And 91 up 2.4%. Sasol losing some of yesterday's gains. They were big yesterday. They're down 3.25% on the day. Tungela down 2.28%. Exxaro also giving up some of yesterday's gains. They're down 1.77%. And then ARM down again. African Rainbow Minerals, they're spending a huge amount of money increasing their platinum production, and the investors haven't liked that over the last couple of days. They're down 0.85% on the day. Aspen down 2.27%, and then Telkom is down 2.5% on the day. In the US, so quite a few things going off. There was a tech sell-off yesterday. There's fresh earnings coming through. There's the situation regarding oil prices, and then the tariff announcement. And all of that leading to a bit of a subdued open, turning a little more positive now. The Dow Jones is up 0.29, the Nasdaq is down 0.4, the S&P 500 is up 0.07. The gold price at the moment is higher. It's at $4,061.98, platinum $1,578.15. Brent crude, $97.40, so $3, not even weaker than it was yesterday. The rand to the dollar, John, the thing to watch probably over the next hour, 16.84, to the euro 19.16, to the British pound 22.44. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news and update. To start us off, I believe Maki Molapo from the Matlanga Commission. What's happening there?
That's right, John. Good afternoon. Lawyers for controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim have told the Matlanga Commission that he suffered another unnamed illness. In April, Karim was admitted to hospital after suffering a suspected heart attack at a gym in Sandton. Since then, Karim has missed several scheduled appearances at the Matlanga Commission because of illness. The Commission is currently hearing a postponement application by Karim. There's been talks today on whether Karim would be willing to subject himself to an independent medical examination. His lawyer, Camille Premid, says Karim's doctor was consulted on the matter this afternoon.
We are advised that Mr. Karim has suffered another medical incident and that no instructions can be obtained by him in respect of what Chair has put to me. And this is in the context of this facilitative process that we've been talking about. I'm also told that the clinician has expressed his frustration to Mr. Karim's attorneys because, in his view, his client's position is deteriorating as a result of the pressure being put on him by his attorneys in respect of commission and commission business.
The case against alleged underworld kingpin Vusmusi Ket Matlala in the Johannesburg High Court came under intense scrutiny as the state mounted a forceful defense regarding the legality of the arrest, the search and seizure process, as well as statements made by accused number 1, Musa Kekana. The Johannesburg High Court is hearing an interlocutory application by the defense to exclude crucial evidence. The defense challenged the lawfulness of Kekana's arrest without an arrest warrant. The defense also wants the court to subsequent the search and seizure and statements made by Kekana declared inadmissible. Matlala and his co-accused are facing 25 charges, including 11 of attempted murder. Dimakazala Shoro has more.
Prosecutor Elise Leroux says the application is without merit.
Not only did he cooperate with the police and what followed after that, but he never made any confessions. So we only rely on 219 capital A, which we will submit was an admission made voluntarily by accused number 1.
She says she is relying on a section of the Criminal Procedure Act which permits for an arrest to be effected without a warrant. During the interlocutory application, Kekana was identified by the witness Christian Shepard as the one who was laying down in a mustard shirt as he was arrested. The court's ruling on the interlocutory application is expected to have a major impact on the trial as it will determine whether the challenged evidence remains before court. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg High Court.
And the threat of a global water crisis and what it could mean for cities like Cape Town came under the spotlight at the Food Indaba's Water and Food System Conference today. Head of Nature, Climate and Energy at the United Nations Development Programme for South Africa, Deshni Pillay, says water bankruptcy has become a reality for many citizens across the country. Pillay joined researchers, policymakers, activists and community leaders at the Two Oceans Aquarium today to discuss the ongoing crises. Carla Peterson is there.
Head of Nature, Climate and Energy at the United Nations Development Programme for South Africa, Deshni Pillay, described water bankruptcy as the point where water systems can no longer sustain current levels of extraction, consumption and economic activity.
So the United Nations University's Global Water Bankruptcy Report described this as living beyond our hydrological means. So extracting more water than nature can replenish.
Pillay says the high cost of food is also a symptom of a water crisis.
Water bankruptcy doesn't just happen overnight. Like financial bankruptcy, it begins silently. Small deficits accumulate whilst our natural capital gets depleted.
Pillay says the UN is fostering local and regional partnerships to build climate resilience while also working with communities to create alternative solutions. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News at the Two Oceans Aquarium in Cape Town.
Look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 1 and 7 degrees and peak at highs between 19 and 21 degrees.
In the CBD, there is a bumper-to-bumper traffic due to multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North ramp to the Golden Highway. Please drive carefully when you're there. And in Melrose Estate, heavy traffic on Glenhove Road causing delays.
The top story in Eyewitness News: lawyers for controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim have told the Madlanga Commission that he suffered another unnamed illness.
702 afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja. 1 to 3 p.m.
Spiritual hygiene. I've heard of people who say, be careful who you invite to your house. Be careful whose house you eat food at.
Yes.
What are the other things that maybe people can be mindful of?
Before you go into a space, any building, you don't know what binding spells were being done or spoken upon that space. So you need to almost like protect your aura, protect your energy. How do you do that? I burn in Bepo, I fast, I wake up at certain hours. Cleansing is different for everyone depending on your belief. As long as you understand that your energy is the most powerful thing you can ever give.
Mpoma Sondo, who's a traditional healer and indigenous knowledge specialist.
702 afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Joburg, it's time to show up for our city. On Sunday, 26 July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. It's proudly partnered by Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history and experience the exciting growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner invested in the future of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement helping to build a stronger, safer and more vibrant Jozi for generations to come. Register today and take part in the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care. We cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is not a medical scheme and the cover is not the same. FlexiCare is underwritten by Auto & General, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, an authorized FSP.
When Joburg walks with the people, for the people, on Sunday, 26 July, everybody will come together at the finish line of 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk.
Walk the talk.
Babize bonke. As Jozi's favorite artists bring an epic afternoon of fun to the people, featuring Babalwa M, Lebza Defilian, Vibuhle, Nomfundo Mo, Sam Deep, Citizen Deep, and Manana. So, after you've taken the scenic route, join us at the finish line and celebrate the iconic rhythm that makes Joburg more than just a city.
It's Joburg, you know?
702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
Just Andalex it.
Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Andalex it.
Andalex, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
When you're walking the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk on Sunday, 26 July, 2 days' time, keep your eyes open because Mazda is bringing wonder to the 8-kilometer route. There'll be 5 Mazda Wonder experiences, including a piano performance, a world of color, a bubble field, a Japanese garden, and the Mazda Wonder Hub. Visit one of the 5, then capture and share your wonder moment on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Tag and follow at Mazda SA using hashtag Mazda SA, and you could win your share of 50,000 Rand. Mazda, where wonder awaits. T's and C's apply.
At the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, snap and share any one of 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag Mazda SA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, Dr. John. So what has aged me is having a teenage son. Like, it's ridiculous. How? I mean, I'm still a teenager myself. Or at least that's how I feel. And now I have this teenage child, and now his voice was broken, and he speaks with a really deep voice, and he's taller than me. And now I'm looking up at him, pointing my little finger at him, and gosh, yeah, no, it ages you, hey. And then he refuses for me to use their language, like saying clock it or lock in and things like that. So yeah, I feel really old.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what's that's like, having never walked that journey. Temba says, the work that I'm doing has made me very, very old. It is draining my energy, Temba says, like you have never seen. It's 17 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele football season. We've just had a World Cup, but of course, clubs are gearing up. What news have you got for us on the local scene?
While John Fernando de Cruz will take charge of his first official Kaizer Chiefs game when they take on Zimbabwean champion Scotland FC in Sunday's Toyota Cup, he's replaced the co-coaching duo of Khalil Ben Youssef and Cedric Kaze, having been appointed assistant coach a few years ago. That's before vacating the role to work with the Moroccan Federation. And speaking through a translator, de Cruz explained why he chose to accept the job at the second time of asking.
He left 2 years ago because he had a good opportunity with the Moroccan Federation. He thanks again the Kaizer Chief family to let him leave from Moroccan Federation. But now he come back like head coach, and he cannot refuse to come back as head coach from a big club like as Kaizer Chief.
The Italian Football Federation have confirmed that Pep Guardiola has turned down the chance to coach the Italian national team. That's just days after admitting exceptions would have been made for his salary. Technical director Paolo Maldini has also revealed that the Azzurri first approached former player Carlo Ancelotti to take over, but he opted to remain in charge of Brazil. Former playmaker Andrea Pirlo is now the front runner to be appointed and tasked with qualifying them for Euro 2028. Switching to the Currie Cup, where the Cheetahs host the Sharks at 5 p.m. as they look to make it back-to-back wins. They beat the Lions 29-27 last week, and their coach Franz Steyn is looking for improvements in the showdown against the coastal side.
I don't think there was one area that can be happy. Defensively, we were poor here and there. Attackingly, we threw the ball away. We struggled in the line-out. So if we can put up a better performance in each of that areas, the result will already look better.
And Formula One bosses are reportedly in talks with organisers of the Malaysian Grand Prix to see the Sepang race make a surprise return to the calendar this year as a stand-in event. F1 is considering slotting in the race on the 4th of October after they were close to announcing that the Bahrain Grand Prix was back on the schedule in early October, only for conflict in the Middle East to increase in recent weeks. The desire for Malaysia is also influenced by the possibility of the last 2 races of the season in Qatar and Abu Dhabi not going ahead. Tola Gelimganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 4:45, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Let's get the latest. Liseko Singo is standing by.
Yes, John, in the CBD, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic due to a multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North ramp to the Golden Highway. Also, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M1 South. Melrose Estate, heavy traffic on Glenhove Road, causing delays in Rosebank. There's traffic clocked on Oxford Road. In Germiston, traffic is slow on the M2 East, that is when heading into Refinery Road, causing delays. In Selby, there's slow-moving traffic from Selby to Crone on Main Reef Road. Amalgam, slow-moving traffic on Chess Street, also on the M2 East and on Industrial Road. In Tshwane Centurion, there is a crash on the R21 South at Nelmarpius Drive. Please drive carefully. In Hatfield, there is slow-moving traffic on Linwood Road next to the University of Pretoria, also on University Road, causing delays. In Pierre van Reineveld, there is queuing traffic from Pretoria to Centurion on the N1 South. That's when or if you're heading to Johannesburg or Krugersdorp via the N14. Remember to report any traffic incidents on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 96. My dog ran out, and I had to chase him for 5 kilometers. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
The Women's Africa Cup of Nations gets underway on Sunday. Banyana are in action the following day. Let's take a look ahead to the tournament and, crucially, how our team champions in 2022 might do. Tolakele Mganga, very good afternoon to you once again. Let's start with Group B, where South Africa have been placed. Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire and Tanzania, our opponents. Tough group?
It's a relatively easy group if we look at it on paper, but we've watched a lot of football, John, to know that games are not played on paper. No. And Coach Desiree Ellis was also emphasizing the fact that even coming into the last edition, we were hands-on as the defending champions, expected to go all the way to the final and repeat our winning performance. But I think this time around there's a reality of other nations are getting stronger with the announcement this week that CAF have increased the prize money to $2 million. The fact that the semi-finalists qualify for the FIFA World Cup. All of those incentives are calling for other teams to raise their game. There are issues for Banyana themselves. Thankfully, this time around, Thembi Kgatlana's back in the fold, having missed the previous edition for personal reasons. But we know that Coach Des was a little concerned about the initial March start time because our locally based players were not playing in the Hollywood Bet Super League because it hadn't started yet. And majority of her squad is made up of those players. She's happier now because they've played roughly 6 games in the New Look League. So a lot of them have a bit more experience. They've got the match fitness, but also you never know on the big stage how the youngsters do perform when they're called upon. We've got the likes of Lona Themba Mhlongo, we've got Zoe October involved in that team. So it'll be their first experience at this high level. And we do know with competition football, there's no room for lacking. You've got to be on the ball from the minute the first ball kicks off.
So Morocco, the hosts, always strong. Nigeria, 10-time winners and defending champions. Pick a winner if you can.
South Africa. But we meet Nigeria in the final so we can win it properly.
Okay, well, there we go. We've got an early prediction Monday. We'll do a full preview of Banyana's very first game in AFCON. They play at 7 o'clock. We'll give you all the details about that later. 702 Drive.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The resignation of David Masondo as the chairperson of the Public Investment Corporation. It comes as the PIC faces one of its biggest governance crises in history. The PIC manages over 3 trillion rand in state employee pension assets, and it's been rocked by a leadership crisis. This serious crisis is also because the PIC has been found wanting over high-risk, unvetted and poorly structured transactions.
Well, this is a serious moment, of course, in the institutions. I would not really trade in the labels.
This issue of this Apacalpo deal and the Lanceria matter, I mean, that's what's led to the suspension of the permanent CEO. What is your response in terms of what's been in the media about all of this? I mean, this will certainly impact public confidence in the PIC.
Yeah, no, I do understand why you would ask that, but I'm not going to characterize this matter as it's under the independent investigation.
Do you want the top job?
Oh no, my task right now is stewardship.
Batando Damoy, CFO at the Public Investment Corporation.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9
on 702.
The future belongs to those who are prepared to lead it. If you're ready to think bigger, lead with purpose, and transform your career, head to Wits Business School's Open Day on Saturday, 1 August. From 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Explore their postgraduate diplomas, master's degrees, and executive education programs. Take the step towards becoming the leader that the future requires. Register now at wbs.ac.za. Wits Business School, sculpting global leaders.
Mzansi. Get ready for your chance to win big. This Friday, you stand to win over 50 million rand in total estimated Powerball jackpot. That's over 50 million rand that could change your life instantly. Watch it live Friday at 9 p.m. Will you be SA's next multi-millionaire? Get your ticket now. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekhaya.
Get ready to watch demo prices get knocked down. It's the Demolition Sale at Motor Select. Hundreds of quality demo vehicles at smashed prices. Come find the demo deal you've been waiting for and save big on your next car. The Demolition Sale is now on. Motor Select. Trusted value, trusted vehicles. Visit motorselect.co.za to find yours. T's and C's apply.
Taking part in the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk this Sunday, bring Joe with you. Joe, J-O, is your free AI Johannesburg companion, helping you navigate the route while uncovering hidden Josie gems along the way. You could even win a great prize, a Josie weekend experience around Main Street Sundays on the 9th of August. Use the signs along the routes to unlock fascinating facts about the city's history. Download Joe now by going to Johannesburg JHB in your pocket GPT.com. That's JHB in your pocket GPT.com. Walk the talk with Joe and Josie My Josie and discover your city one story at a time.
Randall's One Song on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive with John Perlman.
Right, let's focus our attention now on some music. Randall Abrams joins us with a song by an artist called Dane. The song is called PQC. And Randall, a very good afternoon to you. For people who don't know Dane and haven't heard this song, introduce both of them to us, if you will. Good afternoon.
Thanks so much, John. So Dane is a Filipino-Australian singer. She's from Melbourne. And the reason I chose it is because it's such a vibrant new sound. I mean, this really is kind of the sound of the future of pop music. You can hear the obvious influence of Charlie XCX, with whom Dane has already collaborated. She's just past 21. And you think about it, she grew up listening to 5 Seconds of Summer in the 1975. Those are some of the bands that are kind of in the later years of my musical exploration, but in her case, obviously that's when she was young, right? There's a particular kind of DIY ethos to the sound, so it's far away from kind of hyper-produced K-pop music. You know, there's a sense that artists like Dane, even to a degree Charlie XCX, are kind of, you know, working on their computers and working with younger people and delivering this kind of music.
Right.
The Bloody Knees is the song that Charlie XCX worked with Dane on. She's now signed to a major label, to Warner Music Australia, and I think this obviously this song is kind of aimed at, you know, a kind of her breakout moment, as it were. And I do think, as pop songs go, it's really a great summer moment. Obviously, you know, this is summer in Europe and in other parts of the world, not summer in South Africa. But we'll have to see how it translates across the world.
Well, let's take a listen and get a sense for ourselves. Certainly in Joburg, it's warm enough to enjoy a summer song, PQC by Dane. Here it is. All the way from Australia, Dane. The song is called PQC. That is Randall's one song for this week. Randall Abrams back with us at the same time next Friday.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings.
8 to midnight.
I've been looking at the testimony of the head of IDAC, Ms. Johnson. I can't help but feel like the establishment of IDAC was for nothing other than political reasons. Questions that are posed to her, the lack of response, and more specifically, the issue of Fadil Adams. How it is now becoming apparent that much of the charges he laid against certain members of the intelligence were fed to him by people from IDAC.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Feel like a kid again with Polar Ice Cream, turning the finish line of the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk into the sweetest stop of the day. Cross that finish line and join in the happiness, because Polar is showing up with the crowd favorites, Polar Pops and Fruity Licks for every walker, cheering you on every step of the way and celebrating every achievement with a well-deserved treat. So walk with purpose, knowing South Africa's favorite ice cream will be waiting for you at the end. Polar Ice Cream. Share the happiness.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
Hey, we buy cars. How does it work if I want to sell my car?
We'll drive to your place. You can visit our pods. Even if you don't have space, then at the mall in a parking lot, we've got lots of depots all across the land. Contact We Buy Cars. You're in safe hands. Safe hands.
Wow, that's great.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
You've taken your small business far. Nedbank and 702 can help you take it even further.
How important is it that a campaign like Nedbank Business Ignite recognizes not only entrepreneurs but people who solve problems?
It is important because being an entrepreneur can be a lonely journey. You go through a lot of challenges, and when you do have those victories, there's no one to recognize you. And this competition definitely does that, to recognize the good that the entrepreneurs have done, their achievements. And what we're doing differently this year, we actually decided to touch base with our past winners. We shot a vodcast, and people can go and actually watch those and actually catch up with our past winners to find out what they've done since winning the competition. I mean, my mind was blown in terms of what these guys have achieved.
See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This is EWN.
President Ramaphosa welcomes his victory following High Court ruling, and Cosatu warns of political interference at PIC. Good afternoon, I'm Mikey Malapo. President Cyril Ramaphosa has reaffirmed his commitment to complying and cooperating with accountability processes after the Western Cape High Court ruled against impeachment proceedings against him for the time being. Ramaphosa welcomed today's ruling, where a full bench of the court granted him an interim interdict for a limited time until the same court has decided in a separate application that the report that has given rise to the parliamentary inquiry is flawed. The review of that report will be heard in September. Today, Judge Andre Lachransi said the president had the right to be spared public humiliation and reputational damage that impeachment hearings can cause if it were based on a report that is not lawful. Lachransi said by subjecting the president to public hearings in the Parapara matter before the court has considered Ramaphosa's challenge to the report would be a cynical exercise. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says Ramaphosa has noted the court's order.
President Ramaphosa reaffirms his respect of judicial independence and separation of powers enshrined in our Constitution. The President will continue to cooperate with and abide by processes of accountability.
Evidence leaders at the Madlanga Commission have accused controversial Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim of refusing to hand over his financial documents. The Commission is currently hearing a postponement application brought by Karim. Karim has missed several scheduled appearances at the Commission, citing an undisclosed illness. In April, Karim suffered a suspected heart attack. However, evidence leader Adila Hassim says the request for his company's bank statements was made as far back as March.
Well, first of all, one is not even a document, it's just the name of the auditor. That's all. It's a very simple request. Why I say that I find it extraordinary is because that request was made as far back as when Mr. Karim appeared in this commission. That was on 9 and 10 March.
Hassim says she doesn't buy the excuse from Karim's lawyers that he's the only one able to provide the information requested by the Commission.
What my learned friend is doing is respect, taking liberties with the construction of these various paragraphs, and he's straining to defend an indefensible proposition that there is nobody in the company or in any of these companies which do business in the amount of hundreds of millions of rands who can say who the auditor is or where to find the financial statements.
The Pretoria High Court has heard how former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula allegedly tried to score a R2 million bribe from a contractor of the SANDF, promising to secure a promotion for her husband. Mapisa-Nqakula is on trial for corruption and money laundering for allegedly soliciting bribes of up to R4.5 million from Nombasa Ntsondwa-Ndlovu. The alleged incidents date back to 2016 when she was Defence Minister. Ntsondwa-Ndlovu was the sole director of Umkhombe Marine and had secured several defence logistics tenders. Khomotso Modise has more.
The State Star witness Nombasa Ntsondwa-Ndlovu is the wife of Major General Noel Ndlovu, a military doctor and a senior member of the South African Defence Force. Today, she told the court that in September 2018, while she was delivering a 150,000 rand bribe at the home of former Defence Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula in Bruma, the minister brought up her husband and his imminent promotion. Ntsondwa-Ndlovu believes her husband, who was Deputy Surgeon General, was next in line for the position of Surgeon General, as General Aubrey Sidibe was due for retirement. However, she says while Mapisa-Nqakula was not the ultimate decision maker on the appointment, she could have influenced it. But she says she did not accede to the minister's request because she believed her husband would be appointed. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
Trade union COSATU has warned that political interference and governance failures at the Public Investment Corporation are placing the retirement savings of millions of South Africans at risk. This follows the resignation of PIC chairperson David Masondo, the suspension of CEO Patrick Dlamini, and the exit of several non-executive board members. COSATU says the instability at the PIC raises concerns about political interference and corruption. COSATU parliamentary coordinator Matthew Parks says investigations into the outgoing board, including the controversial Acapulco investment, must continue, while calling for the Special Investigating Unit, the Hawks and the Auditor General to conduct a broader forensic investigation into all PIC investments.
We have been extremely disappointed by whistleblower reports alleging continued interference by politicians in PIC appointments and investments. COSATU welcomed the referral by the outgoing board of the Acapulco investment into Lanseria Airport to the SIU for further investigation. It's critical that this and other investigations into governance and corruption are not blocked or swept under the carpet by the board's resignation.
And in Spain, 2 major wildfires have emerged in the west of Madrid. According to reports, firefighters are racing to fan out the blazes, which authorities say are the worst in the region's history. More than 19,000 people have been evacuated and many municipalities remain under confinement orders. Spain has seen a series of wildfires in recent days as a heat wave and dry conditions have heightened the risk of fast-moving fires, particularly in scrubland areas where dry vegetation has fueled the flames. Gold's trading at $4,065.23 an ounce. The rand's at 16.81 to the dollar, at 22.40 to the pound, at 19.13 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $97.59 a barrel.
In the CBD, there is a bumper-to-bumper traffic due to a multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North to the Golden Highway. Please drive carefully. Melrose Estate, heavy traffic on Glenhove Road causing delays.
In your sport, Desiree Ellis not thinking too far ahead as Banyana gear up for their WAFCON opener. Kaizer Chiefs targeting 4 new offensive additions as Thabo Cele is told he has no future at the club. And Live Golf Team Championship unlikely to take place next month.
Look at your weather. A fine Thursday, I beg your pardon, a fine Saturday in store for Gauteng. Tomorrow, Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 7 degrees and peak at highs of 19. Pretoria is at 5 and 21. Vereeniging's at a nippy 1 and a high of 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. President Cyril Ramaphosa has reaffirmed his commitment to complying and cooperating with accountability processes after the Western Cape High Court ruled against impeachment proceedings against him for the time being.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 5. Good to have you with us on the show. Coming up in the next hour or so, what remains of the next hour, shall I say? First of all, we're going to look back on what happened down in the High Court in the Western Cape. Just to the briefest of recaps, President Cyril Ramaphosa looking to interdict the work of the Parliamentary Committee looking at the Phala matter. He was successful in that regard, but despite stern opposition from certain opposition parties and from the committee itself, what are the implications of that? What happens next? I think the legal pathway is fairly clear, but the bigger questions around our democracy, our constitution, well, those need some discussing and some beating around. We'll look at those a little bit more closely later in the show. That's coming up at 10 minutes past 5. We'll be joined by Dr. Tapelo Tsilapedi, who is a senior lecturer in politics at the University of the Western Cape. And then at the end of the show, as we do every Friday, we are going to talk to natural documentary filmmaker. He makes films about nature, not saying that natural refers to him or his character. Brent Leo Smith has made an award-winning documentary about a lion cub called Bucket. We'll talk about his incredibly interesting life that he has led so far and what's inspired him to do this kind of work. That's coming up at 20 to 6. Right now, it's 10 past 5.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. You know, I've come to accept the fact that time has aged me. But the one thing that I reject, I can take being called Pa and Papa and all those things, but the one that I completely detest is being called Maypa. I made sure that I have only two children. But now, since when am I now South Africans the whole of South Africa's father? No, I'm just me, Kabelen Pretoria.
Thanks for your voice notes. We asked you earlier, what has aged you? One thing that makes people feel aged and aging is getting stuck in traffic. Let's see if we can help.
EWN Traffic.
At 11 minutes past 5, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Lisejo Singo is your man. Here he is.
Yes, thanks, John. In the traffic lights are out at Modderfontein and Van Riebeek, in Midrand at R55 and Kenilworth, in North Riding at Malibongwe and President Forshire, Malibongwe and Witkoppen, or Pretoria and Marlborough Drive, in Fourways at Cedar and Fourways Boulevard. In Tshwane, traffic lights are faulty in Groenkloof at the Fountain Circle and the Nelson Mandela Drive, in the CBD at Sophie de Bruin and Jeff Masamola, Valhalla, Old Johannesburg and Trichat, Marabastad, Boom and 7th, Elandspoort, Roper Street and Linwood Road, R566 and Paul Kruger. In the Johannesburg CBD, there is bumper-to-bumper traffic due to a multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North Ramp to the Golden Highway. Please drive carefully. Melrose Estate, heavy traffic on Glenhove Road causing delay. In Rosebank, there is traffic clocked on Oxford Road. In Germiston, traffic is slow on the M2 East. That's when heading into Refinery Road causing delays. Amalgam, slow-moving traffic on Chess Street, also on the M2 East and on Industrial Road. Remember to report any traffic incident on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The electricity price increases may have dropped a bombshell on your budget, but switch to Outsurance and you could drop your car insurance premium. You could save big, like 48-year-old Sylvia, who saves a mind-blowing 802 Rand a month on her 2019 BMW X1. Why pay more when you could pay so much less and save? Get a quote to switch to Outsurance today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Why was IDEC and the police minister's office so desperate to have the head of crime intelligence, Dumisani Khumalo, charged and hopefully removed from office afterwards? Why were they so desperate to go after them to the point that they even act unethically, to the point that IDEC even violates the NPA Act? What were they trying to stop? Because clearly, the head of crime intelligence, General Dumisani Khumalo, was onto something. The question is, what exactly? What was General Khumalo onto that Andre Johnson was trying to stop, together with the office of the police minister? That's the question I'm really asking.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
As Joburg takes a big step towards a cleaner future, the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment is joining you on this journey, because a cleaner city is everyone's responsibility. So, whether at home or in public spaces, always use designated bins, separate recyclable materials, and never litter or dump illegally. And together, everybody can build cleaner, healthier, and greener communities. Act now, reduce, waste, and recycle. This message was brought to you by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries, and the Environment.
Hi, this is Michael Owen, Hollywood Bets brand ambassador. Being a champion, I know the best performances come from making the right decisions on and off the pitch. Enjoy the game, enjoy the excitement, but play responsibly. Gambling responsibly is about staying in control so you can enjoy it your way. If you or someone you know needs support, help is always available. Call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counselling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Right, gang, are we all in? Liam? Here. Ethan? Here. Andrew? Here. Luca? Yeah. Amelia? Yeah. Violet? Yeah, Mom. Introducing the Chungun CS75 Pro, a powerful turbocharged engine, modern safety features, and room with 7 seats for everyone.
Hey, that's not everyone. You forgot Choppy, Mom.
Oh, Choppy. The all-new CS75 Pro.
Chang'an. Driven to evolve.
Johannesburg is a city on the move.
On the move.
And as a founding partner of Jozi My Jozi, Anglo American is proud to support fellow Joburgers this Sunday as the city unites for the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk.
Walk the talk, walk the talk, walk the talk.
702 Weekend Breakfast with Googs Mhlungu will also be there live. So tune in this Sunday from 6 a.m. and experience the vibrancy of the inner city with Jozi's partner Anglo American, mining potential, building beyond on 702.
I'm ready to rock this book.
More on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive at 16 minutes past 5. Well, the big news item today, although many other stories demand our attention as well, was very much generated by the Western Cape Division of the High Court. President Cyril Ramaphosa had approached that court for an interdict to stay Parliament's Section 89 impeachment committee from proceeding with its public impeachment inquiry. In other words, he wasn't looking for the work of the committee to cease altogether, but no public hearings. He was successful in that matter. The 3 judges were split in their verdict, but the president's request prevailed. So, what is going to happen in legal terms? I think that's probably the simple part. More crucially, what are the political implications of the decision reached? You will have heard throughout the course of the day opposition parties suggesting this has grave implications for our democracy, for our reality as a constitutional state. But let's get a view from the Western Cape. And welcome to the show, Dr. Thapelo Tselapedi, who's a senior lecturer at the Department of Political Studies at the University of the Western Cape. Dr. Tselapedi, welcome and thanks very much for giving us your time. Perhaps the least complicated bit out of the way first. I mean, in legal terms, what can the committee still do? And presumably the next line in the sand is the review of the previous committee's report that takes place in September.
Yeah, I guess what they can do, as I said, stated by the MP at court, was that they can do some preparatory work with regards to the impeachment committee. So obviously draw up a schedule of who they need to interview, get the investigators, make sure that all the stuff that they need to ascertain in terms of evidence is there. So and that's obviously going to be private work. It's not going to be public work. So that's going to be the work that they need to do there. Then there's a second part that is going to, in September, look at the content of the Section 89 report.
Right.
And I think that's where the president might have some valid points that he needs to make there, given his heads of arguments that he presented in part today, at least. So yeah, let's see how that looks like. I think from a legal point of view, that's what the impeachment committee can do currently in Parliament. But that basically just says that they're not able to do any sort of substantive work with regards to that.
So let's talk then about the bigger questions that are being raised. The president by the opposition parties who pushed this matter, and I'm generalizing here or just putting the comments in the general, a president avoiding accountability, a court that is flying in the face of the constitutional court with all the implications of that. You've heard those arguments. What's your own view? I mean, are we at a point of constitutional and democratic risk right now?
No, I don't think so. The sky is not falling.
Yes.
You've got to read Judge Meyer's court, the judgment, when she delivered this her judgment a few months ago. I mean, it's quite clear that the president was allowed, if he disagrees with the content of the Section 89 penal report, he can take it on review. So effectively, his argument and that judgment are aligned, and they give him some wiggle room to be able to then challenge the validity of the Section 89 report. Remember, and that also relies on the difference between prima facie evidence and then sufficient evidence, which is what the president is making. And I think there is some level of validity there. But of course, the president has still quite a lot of things to answer with regards to the content of the report. But I don't think we should be throwing words like, there's no accountability, there's a collapse of constitutional democracy. It's quite clear that the president has accepted that there is an impeachment committee. The president has accepted that work must continue. What the president is just saying that there must be sufficient threshold for him to come there to an impeachment hearing. However, that report does not lend itself to that sufficient threshold. That's the argument. So I think we must just take this in much more measured terms, how we approach the legal process. Legal processes, by their nature, are not something that's going to be resolved today. It's a long game, and I think opposition parties need to prepare themselves for that. But just be mindful, of course, it's an electoral season.
Yes.
So there's going to be, in the public environment, a lot of things that may look exaggerated. So I think we must just be mindful of that.
Dr. Tselapedi, I want to go back to a phrase you used at the beginning of that answer, and you spoke of wiggle room. I mean, should we have a president who himself has made many, many statements going all the way back to the beginning of his incumbency about the importance of integrity, transparency, accountability? Should we have a wiggling president? You spoke of wiggle room, and I get that legally this dots the I's and crosses the T's, but politically, is it not a bad look for a president who some people say really ought to just get out in front of the issue, answer the questions and deal with the consequences?
Look, I think with a motion of no confidence, I can understand that's a political process, and I think, if that was the context, the president should have just, not exploit the wiggle room. But in this process, where it's an impeachment process, it's a legal terrain, and I think you have to be able to use all the resources afforded to you by the Constitution, and I think that's what the president is doing. Yes, there's a wiggle room here that's been given by both my judgment and then by the Section 89 report in terms of bundling up the two concepts, or at least the legal concepts around prima facie and sufficient evidence. However, I do think that the Constitution and legislation does afford him these rights, and this is a legal issue around his own legacy. So I think that we should understand the context as that.
Dr. Tselapedi, I mean, let's look at the opposition political parties in the political context that you've sketched in outline for us. I mean, would it be fair to say that an impeachment inquiry in public where the content of the character of the country's president is ventilated on a daily basis provided way more opportunity than I would have thought the relatively short period of any kind of outrage that this judgment grants them? Or will this depend heavily on what the court decides in September?
Yeah, I think it will depend heavily on what the court decides. But from what I can hear, I've not read the judgment. From what I can hear today, part of the judgment basically did say that there would be some irreparable harm that would happen if this issue of the Section 89 panel report is not finalized.
Yes.
Whether did it understand its responsibility or its mandate or its terms of reference, or did it just misdirect itself? So I think the court has adjudicated on that actually it would be better that we finalize Section 89 report. How does that look like before going public with the impeachment committee?
Thank you so much, Dr. Tapelo Tselapedi, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Political Studies at the University of the Western Cape. Of course, we would very much love to find out and hear what it is that you think about this particular issue. Please do give us a call on 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabota, 1 to 3 p.m.
Spiritual hygiene. I've heard of people who say, be careful who you invite to your house. Be careful whose house you eat food at.
Yes.
What are the other things that maybe people can be mindful of?
Before you go into a space, any building, you don't know what binding spells were being done or spoken upon that space. So you need to almost like protect your aura, protect your energy. How do you do that? I burn in Bepo. I fast. I wake up at certain hours. Cleansing is different for everyone, depending on your belief. As long as you understand that your energy is the most powerful thing you can ever give.
Mpoma Sondo, who's a traditional healer and indigenous knowledge specialist.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabota.
Let's walk the talk.
When the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk happens this Sunday, we want to make your day as seamless as possible with a park and shuttle service. The color of your wristband contained in your walk number pack corresponds with your designated collection point and grants you access onto the shuttle. Monte Casino is red, Greenstone Shopping Centre is green, Clearwater Mall is blue, and Gold Reef City Casino is white. Please ensure that you are at your designated pickup point at least 30 minutes before your intended departure time. Shuttle buses will depart from all park and shuttle pickup points every 30 minutes, starting at 5:30 a.m. See you at 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke. 2 more sleeps. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Testimonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Dolly from Boertersig is vegetarian-ish, with a reputation to uphold. Here's what she whispered about the half chicken and a single side for $1.25.
What? I don't eat chicken, but for Nando's, I make the exception.
Well, good thing there's a salad on the side for appearances. Of course. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
What's for dinner tonight, South Africa? Hiya, Jamie Oliver here. Dinner stress? Forget it. I've teamed up with Checkers to bring you some of my favourite recipes the whole family will love. Like my gorgeous Greek-style chicken, juicy, herby and done in 30. Easy peasy and delicious. Shop the ingredients on Checkers 6060 and boom, delivered in 60 minutes. Every week, 5 brand new dinner ideas. Checkers, dinner done better.
You're with John Perlman
On 702. EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, the end of the week's trading, but not the end of the conversation. What have you got for us? Good afternoon.
Afternoon, John. Despite so many of the sort of global forces against us, the JSE up 0.98% at the end of the day. The JSE All Share 109 points, 398. Resources up 1.2. That really did most of the heavy lifting, but industrials are up 0.81 and a strong push from financials too. They're up 1.25 on the day as well. So quite a few important things going on there. New Trump tariffs for many countries. They're 12.5%. For some, they're 10%. This is what the US claims is not preventing forced labor, but there's so many sort of exemptions that it makes a little bit of a nonsense of us. We got a 12.5%, but so did much of the rest of the world. Doesn't affect our nuts, our oranges, our guavas, our gold, our platinum, and our manganese, and a couple of other carve-outs as well. But it is affecting markets around the world. And then the other issue, obviously, is higher oil prices, and people just, I think, beginning to factor in the fact that we're going to have higher oil prices for a long time to come. Karoo up 5.59%, the car technology company. Some of the gold miners up, so Harmony's up 3.31, DRD Gold's up 2.5, Northam actually up 2.17, and Kumba up 3% as well. Investec doing strongly up 2.5, and Canal Plus up nearly 3%. But Sasol giving up some of the gains from the week there, down nearly 3%. Aspen down 2.36, the pharmaceutical company announcing today it signed a deal with Merck, the global drugs producer. They are now producing, and they will be allowed to produce, a once-a-month HIV pill. So you can imagine, John, how important that's going to be from a social point of view.
Indeed.
We've also, of course, got the health department rolling out lenacapavir, which is, I think, every 6 months you get the injection and prevents the infection. So certainly things are moving in that score in all sorts of good directions. But energy shares giving up some of the gains of yesterday. Tungela's down 2%, Exara's down 1.15%, and of course Sasol down nearly 3%. PSG Finance down 0.86 as well, and Telcom's down 1.6%. In the US, concerns about the new trade tariffs, concerns about oil prices as well. Things turning a little positive now. The Dow Jones is up 0.27. The Nasdaq is down 0.38. The S&P 500 is up 0.25%. The gold price at the moment not looking too bad. It's been sort of moving up through much of the day. It's at $4,075.69 an ounce. Platinum $1,605.05, and Brent crude $97.10 a barrel. The rand to the dollar, John, this is the other big story for us. The rand's been getting weaker. It's 16.79 to the dollar. It's to the euro, it is 19.12. To the British pound, 22.40. On the Money Show tonight, the latest on the Public Investment Corporation. I don't know if you heard the extraordinary interview with Bongani Bingwa this morning from the acting CEO. We'll replay a little bit of that. We'll speak to Dr. Lumkile Mondi about that. Why pork prices went up and now have gone down so strongly, and the financial power of the World Cup. All of that to come. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. 5:30 on 702 Drive. Maki Molapo has the very latest eyewitness news.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The ANC says today's High Court ruling that will put the brakes on Parliament's Section 89 impeachment hearings should not be seen as impeding the legislature from holding President Cyril Ramaphosa accountable. The Western Cape Division says the president's concerns that he'll suffer reputational harm if he was forced to appear before the impeachment committee before the court has heard his review application are not frivolous. Handing down the order today, following 2 days of arguments last week, the court says the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is deserving of protection against a public spectacle that will harm his dignity and reputation. The court has barred the impeachment committee from hearing public testimony until Ramaphosa has challenged the impeachment report that has led to this inquiry. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
In reading out the order of the court, Judge Andre Lachranzi noted that one of his 3 colleagues who had heard the application last week did not agree that President Ramaphosa had made a sufficient case to be granted interim relief. But he concurred with the majority view that once the impeachment hearings begin, the genie would have been let out of the bottle. ANC MP Mika Mahlauli says the review of the independent panel report will allow for fairness in the impeachment process.
We call on parties to respect and not go out and say this judgment has to do with merits, whether the president is found guilty or not. It has nothing to do with that.
Meanwhile, chairperson of the impeachment committee, Makashule Gana, says today's judgment needs to be studied further.
We will then be able to give further updates from our side as the impeachment committee.
The committee is scheduled to meet again on Wednesday in attempts to finalise the terms of reference for the inquiry and to decide on a nomination for an evidence leader. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Lawyers for Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim are opposing the introduction of CCTV footage evidence at the Madlanga Commission. The Commission is currently hearing an application to reschedule the testimony of Karim to a later date. Karim has missed several of his scheduled appearances at the Madlanga Commission due to an undisclosed illness. Evidence leaders have previously said they were in possession of CCTV footage showing Karim at a shopping centre and a restaurant in Cape Town. Karim's lawyer, Camille Premiet, says it's not disputed that his client was in that location.
I'm going to respectfully submit that the video footage is unnecessary today. And more than being unnecessary, it's also not appropriate and does not serve a legitimate purpose. So the footage is not necessary because the footage is not needed to prove admitted facts.
And in news-making international headlines, Bangladesh president has resigned citing ill health. Mohammed Shahabuddin has held the largely ceremonial post of president since April 2023 after a student revolt ousted former Premier Sheikh Hasina. AFP reports that in his resignation letter, Shahabuddin says due to his worsening physical and mental capacity, he can no longer properly discharge the responsibilities of the presidency. The Home Office says the 76-year-old will have to submit his resignation letter to the Speaker in accordance with the Constitution. A look at your weather. A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 1 and 7 degrees and peak at highs between 19 and 21 degrees.
In the Johannesburg CBD, there is bumper-to-bumper traffic due to a multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North ramp to the Golden Highway and also bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M2 South.
The top story in Eyewitness News, the ANC says today's High Court ruling that will put the brakes on Parliament's Section 89 impeachment hearings should not be seen as impeding the legislature from holding President Cyril Ramaphosa accountable.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The resignation of David Masondo as the chairperson of the Public Investment Corporation. It comes as the PIC faces one of its biggest governance crises in history. The PIC manages over 3 trillion rand in state employee pension assets, and it's been rocked by a leadership crisis. This serious crisis is also because the PIC has been found wanting over high-risk, unvetted and poorly structured transactions.
Well, this is a serious moment, of course, in the institutions. I would not really trade in the labels.
This issue of this Apocalpo deal and the Lanceria matter, I mean, that's what's led to the suspension of the permanent CEO. What is your response in terms of what's been in the media about all of this? I mean, this will certainly impact public confidence in the PIC.
Yeah, no, I do understand why you would ask that, but I'm not going to characterize this matter as it's under the independent investigation.
Do you want the top job?
Oh no, my task right now is stewardship.
Batando Damoy, CFO at the Public Investment Corporation.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Do good while having fun at Jazz for Young People, brought to you by the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Bring your family and friends to this exciting family-friendly concert, curated by the young for the young, all in support of fundraising for the music department at the National School of the Arts. Enjoy live performances curated by Msaki, the NSA band, featuring Msaki, Kutlo Taro Band, Spartan High School, Pro Arte, and Central Johannesburg TVET College. Join us on the 25th of July, 2026 at the National School of the Arts in Braamfontein. Tickets are selling fast on Quicket, with prices starting from just 50 Rand for children. Can't attend the show? You can also pledge your 100 Rand donation to the fundraiser via Quicket. Great music, great food, great company, one great cause. Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, Jazz for Young People. Be there.
Sanzi, get ready for your chance to win big. This Friday, you stand to win over 50 million rand in total estimated Powerball jackpots. That's over 50 million rand that could change your life instantly. Watch it live Friday at 9 p.m. Will you be SA's next multi-millionaire? Get your ticket now. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekaya.
Smart business moves save money. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Stephen from the Villa Rosa.
I was with my previous insurer for 8 years and then I switched to Outsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with the premiums and switching was the best decision we ever made.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Head to Dis-Chem for your best winter buys. Look out for the yellow label to enjoy bulk savings on Better Rewards brands. Swipe your Better Rewards card to get 3 Nivea 50ml antiperspirant roll-ons for 70 Rand 20. Save 31 Rand. Plus double up on your savings when you buy 2 Vaseline 400ml body lotions. Now only 94 Rand 50. Save 65 Rand. Valid until 9 August at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis presents the School of AI, the first of its kind in Africa, powered by 100 world-class AI experts, delivering cutting-edge training, consulting, and real-world AI solutions. Regenesis has embedded compulsory AI modules across all their programs and 12 of their schools, from business and law to education and technology. Join the movement now. Enroll at regenesis.net. Regenesis, one institution leading the way.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
So, still to come on 702 Drive. Does anyone know what animal makes this noise? I can tell you when it gets older, it makes a noise that is a whole lot more fearsome. We're playing you the sounds of a lion cub, and we're playing them because in our weekly feature, A Song, a Book, and a Dish, we'll be chatting to award-winning filmmaker Brent Leo Smith. He's won a significant award at the International Tourism Film Festival Africa for his movie called Bucket, The Lion Cub. That's coming up in a moment.
EWN Sport.
Tolakele Desiree Ellis, big game on Sunday, 7 p.m. Put it in your diaries against Tanzania. What's she saying ahead of WAFCON?
Well, John, she says Banyana have to take it one game at a time as they look to win WAFCON and qualify for next year's FIFA World Cup. They take on Tanzania in the tournament opener as they look for a better showing than they run to the semi-finals in the previous edition.
Everybody that's here has the same ambition, just to qualify for the World Cup first. We have a similar ambition, but we obviously start with the first game against Tanzania. You know, we've always had very tight games against them, so we're not going to underestimate the team. I think you underestimate the team at your own peril, and before you know it, you're chasing the game. So it's important that we get a good start to set the tone for the rest of the tournament. And, you know, after that, obviously, you know, the big mandate is to qualify for World Cup, and then we'll take it from there.
The Court of Arbitration for Sport will hear Senegal's appeal about being stripped of their Africa Cup of Nations title on the 8th of October. The Lions of Teranga were ruled to have forfeited that game on the 18th of January because they walked off the pitch in protest at a penalty that was awarded to Morocco. They returned after 14 minutes to win the match 1-0, but in March, CAF's appeal board replaced that result with a 3-0 victory for the Atlas Lions. On the domestic front, Kaizer Chiefs will parade their new players and coaching staff on Sunday. That's when they take on Zimbabwean champion Scotland FC in the Toyota Cup. Speaking through a translator, Fernando de Cruz revealed that the Glamour Boys are still targeting 4 new offensive additions, while he also provided an update on the futures of Glody Lelepo and Thabo Cele.
For Lelepo, he has other rare opportunity, and the management is open to listen to him, so they are in discussion. And for Thabo Cele, he has a lot of players in this position, and he prefer other profiles. So for the moment, he is not in his plan.
De Cruz has also added that it's both a pleasure and a privilege to coach Amakosi as he looks to deliver silverware and mount a sustained league challenge.
It's a big club with a big DNA, and so but the pressure he puts on himself, and it's a privilege because it's a big club with a lot of fans, and there is a lot of objectives for this season, and we will reach this objective. Don't worry.
And Martin Keimer believes it's highly unlikely that next month's team championship will take place. That's amid Live Golf's pursuit of investors to keep the league going in 2027. The league returned on Thursday following a hiatus in early June. That's due to the indefinite postponement of its inaugural New Orleans event. And while Keimer believes that the final two individual events of 2026 will take place, he's put a 5% chance of the season-ending team championship going forward. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
17 to 6 traffic time. Lesego Singo time. Let's hear what's going on.
Thanks, John. In Edenvale, there is bumper-to-bumper traffic from Isando to Captain Park, causing delays. And in Boksburg, bumper-to-bumper traffic also from Whitfield to Ravensklip. And in the CBD, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic due to still a multi-vehicle crash on the M1 North Ramp to the Golden Highway. Please drive carefully when you're in the area. And also bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M2 South. In Melrose Estate, heavy traffic on Glenhove Road causing delays. And in Rosebank, there is traffic that is trucked up on Oxford Road. In Germiston, traffic is slowly on the M2 East. That's when heading into Refinery Road, causing delays. In Selby, there is slow-moving traffic from Selby to Crown on Main Reef Road. Amalgam, slow-moving traffic on Chess Street, also on the M2 West and on Industrial Road. In Tshwane Centurion, there is a crash on the R21 South at Nelmapias Drive. Please drive carefully. And remember to report any traffic incident on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
David Masondo has resigned as the chairperson of the Public Investment Corporation ahead of a shareholder meeting scheduled by Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana. The resignation comes as the PIC battles one of the biggest governance crises in its history. In a statement, Masondo says he's stepping down in the interest of the country, the stability of the PIC, and the confidence of the millions of South Africans whose retirement savings are managed by the state asset manager. But Masondo, who also serves as the country's deputy finance minister, insists that investigations into governance failures at the PIC must continue and not be quietly abandoned.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
This year's Walk the Talk is powered by more than footsteps. It's powered by Aquele Natural Spring Water and flavored drinks. Whether you choose still, sparkling, flavored, or sports drinks, Aquele is here to keep you refreshed as you enjoy the journey with thousands of fellow walkers. Join the walk, refresh with Aquele, and celebrate Josie, my Josie.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
Uncertainty is rising, but your business still has to deliver. Production targets need to be met. And when your workforce is out of balance, the cost is immediate. Too many employees, costs climb. Too few, productivity drops. Workforce staffing helps businesses stay in control with flexible workforce solutions, deployed within 48 hours nationwide. When demand changes, your workforce can change with it. Visit workforcestaffing.co.za. Stay productive, stay flexible, stay in control.
A song, a book, and a dish.
On 702.
702 Drive at 14 to 6. We look forward to doing this all week. My next guest has made a documentary film about a lion cub that is causing lots of discussion, lots of debate, and sparking sustained rounds of applause, most notably at the International Tourism Film Festival Africa, where it won an award. He's had a very interesting life, to put it mildly, growing up in all sorts of parts of Africa, attending various schools around South Africa, and then charting his own course back into the wild, where so many of his first experiences as a young man were. Brent Leo Smith, welcome, filmmaker and creator of Bucket the Lion Cub. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you very much. I would love to take all the credit for Bucket, but I have an incredible team behind me at Painted Dog that brought Bucket to life across the audiences.
Yeah, well, it is important to acknowledge everybody in the creation of this. I don't want to say too much about the central threads in the film because a lot of people are going to want to watch it, and we won't do any spoilers here. But it sounds like it was a very difficult film to make, Brent, where you had to, in some ways, deal with what you were doing professionally, but also resolve some issues around what was happening emotionally with your principal subject, this tiny little lion cub. Do you think your growing up in the wild prepared you for that?
Definitely. I don't think there's many people who would try to do what we did, particularly in the pitch black with other lions running around at night. But the biggest discussion is, as you know, in a lot of our national parks, it is don't interfere, let nature take its course.
Yes.
Now, over the last 30 years, and in South Africa in particular, there's been a massive change as we've moved away from cattle farms and small sort of hunting farms to a lot of farms now dropping fences, becoming bigger,
yes,
and having animals like lions and elephants, which creates a completely different ecosystem. And it's an ecosystem that has to be managed to a degree more so than a large open system like the Kruger. So it does definitely create some interesting talking points, and something that might work here doesn't necessarily work there, but we're all learning together in the industry.
So, Brent, your mom was a professional tennis player. Many people, particularly of my age, will remember Greer Stevens' titles at Wimbledon, US Open mixed double titles in the top 10 singles, and then a bush pilot in Botswana. And your father, Kevin, a very distinguished career in various aspects of conservation. And yet, as you started out on your journey after school, you started doing law, and then you went into modeling. How did that happen?
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually know what I wanted to do, and I chose what I was going to study in the registration line because
Yes.
I like talking. So one of my friends standing next to me said, well, you should do law. They talk a lot.
Yes.
Turns out that law was a terrible idea.
Yes.
There's a lot of parrot learning, which I'm not very good at. And I wouldn't say I wasn't doing particularly well. And a lady approached me and said, do I want to be a model? And a couple of weeks later, I was on a plane to Milan. And I did a brief stint in the industry while I was in Milan. And then I went, probably from working there, I went to go work in rural Zambia, running anti-poaching. So I got quite bored modeling. It was fun, but it was fun for about 6 months. And then I
Yes.
realized that I needed to get back to the bush.
I want to imagine you as a young boy, because you go to Cornwallis prep school in Pietermaritzburg. You spend some time at school in Hluhluwe. You're at Hilton. And share with me the conversations, like what did you do in your holidays, or would you like to come back and visit me and my family for a couple of weeks? I mean, you had a very different story to tell after the holidays, and presumably a very different, and I would think highly desirable, offering for any friends who you decided to bring home.
We did. It was quite crazy when we used to get back. I think often the teachers and even the kids at school didn't quite believe. It's like, oh no, I saw lions hunt, I don't know, at least 12 times, killed a buffalo, we had wild dogs running through. And so that was our normal school holidays. And I spent as much time as possible in the camps in Botswana when I was in my teenage years. And I always sort of knew that whatever I did would be surrounded by the bush.
Yes.
But the teachers in particular were like, no, man, that can't be true. You mean what? You floated down the Okavango. You went from the Namibian border to town. And I was like, yeah, well, that's sort of stuff we did on holiday. But we're very lucky with
Yeah.
my parents about that. They gave us incredible experiences.
I was just imagining your parents said, I think I'm going to phone Brent's mom and find out if actually any of this is true. Of course, they would have struggled to get hold of her because, it's not as if she was waiting by the phone to see if the souffle was actually rising as it should or not. Tell me this. I mean, you said a very interesting thing reflecting on your doing law because, and you've also just said now you wanted to do something that would allow you to immerse yourself in the bush, and you, in a way, you're doing that. You're doing both of those things because you said you like to talk, and you're talking in a much richer way alongside the rest of the Painted Dog team. But do you think you've found your sweet spot, at least for now?
Definitely. I mean, I did, I think it was about 14 years in the traditional safari industry.
Okay.
At places like Singita, Londolozi. Then I ran a concession for Great Plains in southern Tanzania. I've worked in Congo, in Gabon. So I've bounced around. And after many years in the guiding industry, I still private guide, but just not very often in very select groups. I realized that it wasn't really my passion to be in the bush. I loved sharing the bush with people. But quite often when you're in a lodge format, not everyone wants to sit there and wait 14 hours for the animals to do something, or you've got to get home because the kitchen is waiting for you and now it's 11 o'clock and you're keeping the rest of the staff up. And through filmmaking in particular, we found a way where we could spend a lot of time in the bush without any time restraints. I think my business partner, who I started Painted Dog with when we were working for Wild Earth doing the Nat Geo shows in Kenya, I think our record with the Pride of Lions, I think we spent 27 hours next to those lions waiting for them to do something. And filmmaking gives you that freedom to be out there for that long.
And lions are never in a rush, as I've learned on many, 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 many trips into the bush myself. Kevin, I want to make sure that we tick the boxes because this is a song, a book, and a dish. So let's start with food. We'll talk in a moment about you are currently experimenting with Asian fusion, but with a family living the life that you did. What was kind of a typical meal at the Leo Smith's table when you were growing up?
Well, I love my mother dearly. She is multi-talented, but cooking is not her strong point. She does
she know this?
Very good. Yes, she does.
Okay.
We do very good. She does very good and amazing. I think our favorite comfort food when we get home from boarding school was spaghetti bolognese, which it's still one of my favorites that mom makes with a special cheese sauce. But other than that, it was pretty basic fare. Because of Dad's work, we spent quite a lot of time in lodges, so we got to experience quite a bit of different cuisines that way. And I only really became really into food later on in life, particularly after living in Gabon for a year. So we were surveying a section of Luangwa National Park about its potential for tourism. We had no refrigeration, so we ate what came out of a tin. And there's a thing that's made out of cassava. It's called manioc. And it is a staple in the Congo Basin forests. It's basically half fermented cassava that's formed. I don't know how to describe it. It literally looks like plastic and smells like smelly socks.
Yes.
And that's what you eat.
I'll take the large.
And that is your... Yeah, it is absolutely terrible. And then in Tanzania, I ate rice and beans for like 9 months while we were building camps and stuff like that. So after covering those experiences, I really started getting into food and I started cooking myself. And I've got a few friends who are chefs and they've been very gracious in teaching me some tricks.
Okay. So I'm just looking at the clock, which isn't our friend, because there's so much to talk about. Books, you didn't give us a specific book, but divided between reading the kind of background of explorers in the bush, biographies and Africana of various kinds. And then for novels, you dip into Terry Pratchett, for example. Do you get much time to read? I can't imagine you would.
I do. I try to make time to read at least once or twice a week. And yeah, Terry Pratchett and Tom Robbins, it's my escapism. It's a completely different world away from all worlds. I just find them highly entertaining and amusing, both those authors in particular.
Let's talk music. You originally said anything by Warren Zevon, and I was going, yes.
At the moment.
Yes, Tenderness on the Block. I want to hear that again. However, you then did a little turn to Nick Cave. Tell us about music and why you picked Nick Cave.
So Nick Cave is one of my all-time favorite artists, but this particular song is very special to me. I got married recently.
Oh, congrats.
And my wife snuck it in while she was walking down the aisle. So I didn't know what was going to play, but it is quite amusing. So her family is Greek Orthodox.
Mm-hmm.
And the very old, very sweet priest had told us, no rock and roll, only classical music.
Yes.
But we had a cellist playing Nick Cave, and we thought he wouldn't notice, but he did.
Okay, well,
and he was having an argument with my sister-in-law about they're playing rock and roll, and we didn't know what was going on. I was standing up at the front of the altar, but yeah. So at the moment, that's a very, very special song to me.
And the title absolutely appropriate, Into My Arms, Nick Cave, and clearly the priest, a bit of a closet rocker himself, but
exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brent Leo Smith, and we've really enjoyed A Song, a Book and a Dish. Many people, I'm sure, are going to enjoy the movie you made with the crew at Painted Dog. It's called Bucket the Lion Cub. Thanks so much for joining us on 702
Thank you so
Drive.
Much.
Into my arms, oh Lord, into my arms, oh Lord. Into my arms, oh Lord, into my arms. And I don't believe in the existence of angels. But looking at you, I wonder if that's true. If I did, I would summon them together. And ask them to watch over you. Well, to each burn a candle for you to make bright.
702 Drive this week, produced by Jonathan Fairburn and Rifue Litsua. Karabo Malapile is our technical producer. I'm going to have a long stretch over the weekend in preparation for meeting all of you, I hope, at the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Really looking forward to that. Thanks for being with us throughout the week. Good night.
Arms, oh Lord, into my arms. But I believe in love. And I know that you do.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA Corporate and Investment Banking, turning intent into execution. That's how ABSA are invested in Africa's energy future. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, as David Masondo resigns from the PIC, which Deputy Minister can Enoch Godongwana appoint to replace him?